everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Channel. You've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear, it's the Bass Brothers. We are back, and we are live one more time from Naval Station Coronado. It's North Island. The Teddy Roosevelt parked in the background. The backdrop for the Qualcomm Street Circuit, San Diego. And Caleb, we saw a rough, and I do mean rough, night last night for several drivers. We had championship contenders, we had race contenders nosing into walls. At one point, we had damage on all but a handful of cars. What do we expect tonight? These trucks handle quite a bit differently around here.
Yeah, they handle a little bit better than Grand National cars that we saw last night. They're a little bit quicker in the corners, and because they have a little less horsepower, it's going to be a little bit easier to handle these trucks. And they're a little bit quicker, as I said, than the O'Reilly cars, so it's going to handle a lot closer, not so much as a stock car per se, but kind of closer to like a V8 supercar per se around this Coronado track, which kind of fits a lot better in the truck here than it did in the Grand National car.
It does. These trucks, of course, are a little bit less powerful. They've got a much bigger greenhouse. They've got a little bit more drag, and that means with that extra drag comes a little bit more downforce, and they're able to handle the bumps better too, I think, Caleb. They're a little bit more compliant, so you're not going to feel as much in terms of the bumps. Of course, last night we saw those bumps take out several cars. Matter of fact, we only had six cars finish, only 5 on the lead lap. Tonight we've got some different drivers. Ryan O'Donohue fought a fierce battle, came home second. He's quickest right now in practice. We'll go ahead and get those times. Up. But he's back tonight. Sean Roberts, who had a fine run up into a podium position until he found the bumps and found the wall. He's currently third quick. Kendall Paul had a pretty good night last night. He is fourth fastest. Sam Crow, an unlikely podium. He's back. He's currently sixth. And I guess, Caleb, the thing that I would think about with this track is experience. We were kind of talking. The real life drivers have been using the sim to kind of prepare for this race because, well, they haven't been able to test. I wonder how much the experience last night for O'Donohue, Roberts, Paul, Crow, and those guys is going to say, Lewis Hayes, another one. How much that's going to help them tonight?
Well, it appears like it's going to definitely help a ton here. O'Donohue, a second and a half clear of everybody else at the moment in this practice session. Sean Roberts, Kendall Paul also ran last night. They run third and fourth. They're actually within a tenth of each other, both doing 2:14.3s. So, and then really the only driver separating the top three is Logan Edwards, the old narc brain, in second. And he's been practicing a lot in his free time beforehand. And he's known to be a road course specialist in these truck series, and as well as the Grand National series occasionally when he does come over for that. So really, it's a lot of experience, whether it be just through the sheer pace of like Logan Edwards, where it's just natural road course talent, or maybe you have experience of running a race last night like O'Donohue, and where he's nearly a second and a half clear of everybody else at the moment. So it's good, experience really goes a long way, especially at a street track. The more practice you can get around, any sort of road course, especially a track as difficult as this, really, really goes to show what good results drivers can have here.
It can. The other thing that I was kind of thinking about too, not just the experience factor of last night, but also the shorter field. And we kind of talked about Ted Craven last night a lot. He wound up bringing his car home in 8th last night just simply by persisting. The race last night, one of heavy attrition. Again, all but a handful of cars, all but really the front two had some sort of damage on them at the end. And so even if you have a bit of an incident early, Caleb, don't count yourself out. Go in, get it fixed. The lap here over 2 minutes, so even if you got a lot of damage, you may only wind up 2 or 3 laps down, and as cars fall out, you may have a chance to put yourself back up toward the front of the field.
Yeah, always definitely a case scenario for this. We talk about Ted Craven. He was one of the first drivers that got into an incident in last night's race. I think it was only like lap 2, and he was already in the pit lane getting damage repaired. Well, he just continued doing laps, and he ended up getting a very solid finish in last night's race, just because, well, it's a street circuit. People are going to fall off, and they're going to DNF. So really, you want to try to push the truck as long as you can, because, well, people will fall out of the running order here. So it really worked for Ted Craven last night. He even worked for the Kendall Paul. He had an incident in the middle of the third stage, but was able to get some places towards the end and manage to get a 6th place finish last night. So really survival, if you're able to just keep your car out there, keep all 4 tires rolling, you should be in a good spot to possibly get at least a top 10 finish here tonight.
Well, if you go a lap down, don't fret. Stages at 15 and 30, 3 sets of tires in the box. The other thing is they should be able to make the final stage here, Caleb, without a pit stop. So we should not be looking at green flag pit stops in the final stage. It is iRacing caution, so barring a track blockage, we are not going to see the admin box yellow flag here tonight, except for the stage breaks. And again, there will be 2 of those. We're about 90 seconds away from the run for the SimShop Pole Award. SimShop just keep driving right now. Ryan O'Donoghue, as he was last night, much quicker than the rest of the field. He's got a full 1.5 seconds on Logan Edwards. We were kind of talking about Logan's pace earlier. There's definitely more in the tank for the old Narc brain, so keep you posted on that. Sean Roberts is third quick. And he and Kendall Paul very close. They were very close and raced a lot of the race together last night. They're 3rd and 4th. Jason Phillips is 5th. He was not here last night. Sam Crow finished 3rd in last night's event. Austin Hund right together. And then there's a pretty big gulf back to Paul Witt, Brian Sharp, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Ted Craven, and David Dunwoody. So it's going to be interesting to see. Matt Sisler, John Houchins, and Alan Steigerwalt have not set a time. Notably, for championship reasons, there are some heavy hitters that are not here, Caleb.
Yeah, some big heavy hitters not, as you said, in the lineup here tonight. Matt Sisler, he's still not turned a lap. He is on pit lane, though, so he may turn some laps in queue, but he's still not turned a lap, and he is in the session, though. So, but as we said, Justin Osman's not here tonight. James Hodgson also not here. He's just inside, the cutoff line for the chase here, and that's really going to be, a pretty big hit for him, considering that he could have easily, gotten a top 10 finish, possibly a top 5, but obviously he couldn't make it out here tonight. So, the driver that's right behind him, actually, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, he's currently in that 11th spot. He's going to, gather all those points up as much as he can here and get himself into the chase as long as he gets a decent result.
Very true. But then behind Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Chuck Sweeting, Jim Duda, they're not here. Matt Wagner not here. So Jeremy Dunwoody is not here. So a lot of those guys that are looking at trying to get in the chase for that championship, they are simply not available this evening. We are going to follow the old narc brain, Logan Edwards, whenever he chooses to get out on the course. There he is, and we'll let Logan and the Team i5G machine show us around here at Coronado. This track, it's very it's very different, Caleb, in that the turns haven't even been the turns have not been named here. Usually on a road course they're named, and they're very difficult to follow with the numbering, and so we've been calling them by the sponsor name. So going through the Qualcomm corner there, Caleb, Logan Edwards, he's raced around. This would be turn number, oh golly, what was that?
Oh, it was Qualcomm corner.
Qualcomm corner. Down toward Red Bull he goes. This would be the right-hander at 6 and 7, headed toward the Coronado chicane. That's the Red Bull area, and this is one of the most narrow portions of the course. You normally really fit 2 automobiles side by side through there, and just fit them through turn 8, back through turn 9, and it goes. This track also very odd, Caleb. It is very narrow in places, and it's very, very wide in places, using some of the taxiways around the Naval Air Station here at Coronado. The Pala Casino Spa and Resort, Caleb calls this the pink corner through 10 and 11. There's turn number 12. Now he's on Runway Road, and you see the runway in the background. Big C-17 cargo jet through turn 13, and now 14, 15, and there's going to be a bus stop chicane here, Caleb, coming right on up.
Yeah, this bus stop chicane is one of the trickiest corners on the track right before the start-finish line. It's basically just 2 completely 90-degree right-handers back-to-back, and then you got this short chute right before this left-hand kink. We saw a lot of drivers last night hit that outside wall, and I guarantee you we will see a lot more hit that wall there tonight. Not so much in turn 1. Logan Edwards hits the wall on his first lap. His first lap will not count. So a little bit of tap of the wall in turn number 1. We really didn't see many drivers hit that outside wall going into that little short chute there. But Logan did in his Q run. Now he's in the mission-driven section of the track into the long sweeping right-hander. Goes over a set of train tracks, I believe, or some sort of tram tracks on the road course. And this is kind of like one of the better overtaking opportunities into a long sweeping left-hander. This is actually called carrier corner, but we'll call it Qualcomm corner just because, well, it's easy to identify, isn't it, Murph?
It is, which is funny to me because the aircraft carrier is actually parked between turns 3 and 4, not turn number 5, which is dubbed carrier corner. Through the Red Bull section, this is turn 6 and 7, and this is where it gets really narrow. And you can see it looking out the eyeballs of Logan Edwards. It is not wide through turn 7 at all. Turns 8, 9, and 10, known as the Coronado chicane. That's where we are right now. It does widen up through this section of the course, and Logan continues along. He's going to go through turns 10 and 11. This is the pink section, the Pala Casino corner. Another little chicane, 10 and 11. And then we're going to make a left at turn number 12. And again, riding on board Logan Edwards, he's giving you a tour of the Coronado course. One thing I'm noticing, Caleb, is that this does not seem nearly as bumpy in the truck as it did in the Grand National car last night.
No, it doesn't. The truck does have a lot more underbody downforce in the Grand National car, and the truck just kind of just handles the balance a little bit better than the O'Reilly car. It typically always is just a little bit quicker all around than those Grand National O'Reilly cars, and we see what Logan Edwards is able to do. Last night, pole position was a 2:14.9. Logan Edwards, that lap time didn't count, but put in reference, Jason Phillips is currently top of the board with a 2:13.4. So we are already on their first laps about a second and a half quicker than what the O'Reilly cars were able to do in yesterday's race.
Yeah, and Logan needs to be careful this time. That was a 2:22.8, and I would suspect once he knew that he had the 0x, he backed way off the pace, trying to make sure he did not burn up the tires so that he had a chance to make a quick lap in this one. He's so far clean getting up to carrier corner. Hard left-hander. You almost drift around that thing. And now down toward turn number 6 and 7, which is the Red Bull chicane area. And this is the narrowest part of the track. You see it's 4 lanes wide, and it's going to become 2 right about now as they shoot off of this corner. You take the straightaway down toward the Coronado chicane, and Logan Edwards, he's on a flyer here, Caleb. That truck looks pretty darn good right now.
Yeah, he's done a lot of practice for this, I'll tell you that much. And we know him as a road course specialist. He got second at Watkins Glen, got third at the Charlotte Roval in the third round earlier this season. He's had a couple results here in the few road course races we've already had. So he's, he hasn't won yet so far. He's got, 2 back-to-back second place finishes. And a 3-race podium streak for Logan Edwards with Charlotte as well. So he looks like he wants, he's known to be a road course specialist. Is he able to actually capitalize on a win here? We'll see what he's able to do. First, you have to qualify. Let's see if he's able to try to top off Ryan O'Donoghue with a 2:12.9, which is slightly faster than what Logan was able to do in practice earlier.
It is. The outright pace for Logan Edwards, as we understand it, a little bit quicker than that. He's across the line here, 2:13.3. That'll put him in the second spot, but still 4/10 of a second adrift of Ryan O'Donoghue. Say hey, Lewis Hayes. Sporting a new scheme tonight on his Ram. The 43 did not get a time his first time through, and he's only going to be able to set one lap. If you haven't set a lap now and you're on your flyer, you're only going to get one. So here's Lewis Hayes. We'll cover the end of his lap, and that'll be it as far as qualifying goes. Paul Witt, Ted Craven are not going to set a time. David Dunwoody did not set a time either. Ryan O'Donoghue goes a little bit quicker on his second lap. Sam Crow, Alan Steigerwalt still out circulating in practice mode. So too David Dunwoody. Say hey, Lewis Hayes is going to be the final car through, or the final truck, I should say. And we'll see where he lines up momentarily, Caleb.
Yeah, he is hard onto the brakes for Say Hey Lewis Hayes. He goes into the bus stop chicane, the Arby's bus stop chicane. That's what we'll call that. I just realized that was an Arby's sponsorship. And he goes into the left-hand kink, going to the front straightaway. I can't tell if he hit the wall there.
He did all that work, and it's not going to count. It would have been a 2:23.8 for Say Hey Lewis Hayes. So it's not really going to hurt anything. He's going to start. He's likely going to wind up starting right where his lap time would have had him anyway. So that'll do it for qualifying, Caleb. And we'll wait for the session to wind down, about 41 seconds. I got to say, this is going to be an interesting race. It was interesting last night from a tactical standpoint. You had Ryan O'Donoghue and help me out. I'm losing my mind, Caleb.
Franco Alvarez.
Yeah, you had Ryan O'Donoghue and Franco Alvarez. They went hammer and tong at it. And from a tactical standpoint, that was a very interesting race with the different pit strategies. Ultimately, Franco Alvarez came out on top. Ryan O'Donoghue came second, brought home a boatload of valuable points. We'll see if he can't do the same tonight as the session gets ready to end here, Caleb, and we get ready to go racing. On the pole with the SimShop Pole Award, www.simshop.com. Just keep driving. It's going to be Ryan O'Donoghue, 2 minutes 12.915. The old narc brain, Logan Edwards, will line up next to him. Logan, his time, 2:13.339. On row 2, it's Jason Phillips and Austin Hunt. Sean Roberts, Matt Sisler going to make up row number 3. Kendall Paul, Sam Crow will line up together on row 4. Then Alan Steigerwalt and David Dunwoody, they're going to go from row number 5. In that 6th row, John Houchins, Brian Sharp, they're the last 2 cars to take time. Paul Witt, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, and Ted Craven will round out the 15-car field. They'll start from the back. It is 50 laps. Sean Roberts has chimed in. He said green flag stops are going to happen in the final stage, Caleb. So that remains to be seen. I would think last night they could do 22 laps. So I was thinking that we might see somebody go the distance in that final stage. But hey, you never know. we get ready to go racing here. Barney up in the flag stand. It is a long pace lap here in this event, isn't it, Caleb? Just almost 5 minutes.
Absolutely, it gets, it's a good time to take in the sights of the aircraft that are around here, the carrier ships. It's a good time to just kind of take in everything, and before we finally get this race underway. Pace truck is finally off, and we'll see the green flag in about 5 minutes time.
Yeah, it's this would definitely be a candidate for a short parade lap. If anybody from iRacing is out there watching, short parade lap at Coronado, because it takes a while to navigate this place. We're going to have a couple of stage cautions, so anybody when they do go yellow, if you feel the need, that's a great time to go get another bucket of popcorn, a new refreshment. Jarrett Corey says, "Get out your favorite piece of literature." But yeah, the caution flags here are going to be pretty long. We would expect just a bit under a 2-hour race time here, Caleb. So we should finish up right about 10:45, and we'll have a winner in the inaugural AMA event at the street course in Coronado. It's dubbed the Qualcomm Street Circuit. You gotta love all the scenery though around this place. The airplanes. There's a drone over there painted like well, I guess it'd be William Byron now, painted like his race car. All the buildings that make up the Naval Air Base. And for those of you who are Top Gun fans, when you hear the term North Island, this is where the Top Gun program is located, and North Island is where this racetrack is, and that's what they're referencing in the movie, Caleb.
Are we considering in the danger zone here, Murph? Is this officially the danger zone?
With all due respect to Kenny Loggins, it just might be. It is a unique place. It's a place where my father-in-law has been quite frequently. He's a retired chief from the Navy, so he's been here several times. Matter of fact, his whole family is from just up the road in Hemet, California, and so he grew up fairly close to here. But it's an interesting place. It'd be a cool place. I'd love to go here. There was a Liberty Mutual Company celebration that came here. There's a very nice resort not too far away from this, not too far away from the naval facility here. I didn't get to go on that trip, but it would have been wonderful to have seen it. A lot of those people that got to go on that deal did get to spend a significant amount of time on the naval base. They had a lot of events and stuff there. So we're looking at a 15-car field. You've got Logan Edwards and Ryan O'Donoghue, and I would expect, Caleb, the battle at the front to be fairly intense here. O'Donoghue and Edwards, judging from the qualifying times, they are the class of the field, but they are not all that far off in pace. Not only that, we don't have somebody like a Franco Alvarez coming from the back that missed their qualifying time. I think this field, the way it lines up, is a lot more even than it was last night. I don't think you're going to have that same kind of a charge, Caleb.
Well, the only outlier in that statement would be Kendall Paul. He went 0.8 quicker in practice, but then again, Ryan O'Donoghue went nearly a second and a half faster in practice than he did in Q. So I think it's going to be, a couple position changes. I don't think we'll see a Franco Alvarez go from 10th to all the way to, basically battling for almost the lead at the end of the first stage like we saw in last night. I think everybody's kind of slotted themselves into where they kind of might be for the duration of the race. So, but we'll see. A pretty good battle at the front. We have Logan Edwards, Ryan O'Donoghue, being in the front row. They're pretty close in time, but look right behind him. Jason Phillips did a 2:13.4 on his Q lap, and then Austin Hunt a 2:13.7. So for a track that's as long as this, to be within a second of the pole position, especially in a track as difficult as this might be a very, very close battle for the lead here during
Well,
the early run.
and we talked about that, kind of at the top of the show, how there were guys that had experience here last night. Logan's done a lot of testing. Uh, the drivers are going to get better as the race goes. They're going to learn more and more and more about this track, just the more laps they do as the pace truck gets ready to file on away. Ryan O'Donohue from the pole position will take the green flag, and we are underway at Coronado. 50 laps of AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series action. Logan Edwards will fall in behind Ryan O'Donohue as we head to turn 1.
Yeah, they're going to go side by side a little bit harder to the wall. That is Austin, that's not.
That was Austin Hunt.
Yeah, that was Austin Hunt. Excuse me. Harder to the outside wall, turn number 1. Currently has Jason Phillips his outside. They're going to go 2 by 2 as they go into turn number 3.
They are. Austin Hunt has the preferred line on the inside. Jason Phillips to the outside, and they've got Matt Sisler and Sean Roberts right directly behind them. And we know Sean Roberts can get around here. He ran third for most of the race last night and wound up getting a little bit too greedy, smacked the wall out of the race. But he would have been in good shape. There's a car on the wall in the background. I believe that might have been Kendall Paul.
It was Kendall Paul.
So there's Kendall Paul. He slaps the wall with the right side of that truck. Gets it back in line. He currently runs in the 9th spot in the 78. As we continue to file through, everybody has more or less made it. The best battle on the track right now, as Austin Hunt has cleared his way back to 3rd, is for the 4th spot. It's Jason Phillips, Matt Sisler, Sean Roberts, Sam Crow, all right there, Caleb.
Yeah, all right there. Very early on in the running. It seems like Jason Phillips has dropped a little bit to Austin Hunt. Austin Hunt pulling away from the rest of the pack behind. He looks to set his sights on the back end of Logan Edwards here. But through the pink section here, the pink casino section, it looks like that gap has dropped a little bit to Jason Phillips. A little bit further back, a bit of shuffling between Kendall Paul and Alan Steigerwald. Those guys are going to go side by side, and Steigerwald is around.
Alan Steigerwald around in the number 87. There he is. We need to go back and see what's happened to Alan Steigerwald. It appears as though he just lost the car under acceleration and in the bumps, Caleb.
Yeah, very, very tricky here. He was on the outside. Kendall on his inside. Possibly got spooked, maybe? Kendall's a little bit far back there.
Yeah, I just think cold tires, and he got out off the line. It's dirty out there. Spun the rears up, and Alan Steigerwald goes around. You see Brian Sharp, evasive action as he comes through. David Dunwoody, the same thing. Say Lewis Hayes is going to come through, and Ted Craven still in the back of the field. Those guys, if last night was any indication, they're just trying to survive. We'll get back to the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's Austin Hunt, Jason Phillips, and Matt Sisler. Logan Edwards is about 3/4 of a second behind Ryan O'Donohue at this point. So this by far the best battle on the racing surface, and it's taken place about 4 to 5 seconds behind the leaders.
Yeah, we had a pretty good 3rd place battle in that first stage here. And really, it was because Ryan O'Donohue walked away with the field, and then all the shuffling happened directly behind him. Jason Phillips, he's got a good run through the Red Bull section now. He's had to back off a little bit. We'll see if he's able to go through Camping World again. But Austin Hunt seems to be very, very quick. Kind of in the middle portion of the track here. So, and you can see Jason Phillips, he's currently dropped a little bit to Matt Sisler.
He is. We're going to hop on board with Logan Edwards. The old narc brain has closed the gap. He got right to the rear bumper of Ryan O'Donohue about half a lap ago. The gaps here can be very deceptive, can't they, Caleb? Just by the nature of the course, you've got a lot of slow corners, and they do accordion back together several times in the lap. As you ride on board with Logan Edwards, it's also not a very fast course, is it, in terms of outright speed?
It is To put in reference, the pole position time of the O'Reilly race was about 90 miles an hour, or I guess the pole position speed per se was about 90 miles an hour with in last night's AMA race. So it's a road course. It's going to be slow. Now, realistically, we had Watkins Glen, we had the Charlotte Roval, which are two of the faster courses in the NASCAR schedule in terms of road course pace. This one isn't the absolute slowest. I would imagine the absolute slowest would be something like Chicago, the Chicago street course that they ran a couple years ago. I imagine this is probably much faster than that, and they seem to be absolutely hauling around here. So it does seem to be a little bit quicker, but it is still, there's a lot of slow sections, a lot of slow chicanes that these guys have to navigate.
There are, Caleb. There are. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in the broadcast. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel. If you've got a question, please put it in the chat. Caleb and I would be happy to answer anything you've got. We're watching Ryan O'Donohue. He has pulled out about a second, a little bit more than that, over Logan Edwards. Let's split back to the battle for third. Austin Hund, big slide for him going through the Camping World corner. And there's Austin Hund in front of Jason Phillips and Matt Sisler. They put some distance between themselves and Sean Roberts. Roberts has about a second over Sam Crow. And then Kendall Paul is a couple of seconds behind them. John Houchins, 11 seconds in arrears of Kendall Paul in ninth. And then you've got Brian Sharp in 10th. He's holding down the 10th spot. Sharp, Dunwoody, and Steigerwalt, along with John Houchins, they're all right together. And these trucks here, Caleb, this is a group that just wants to make it to the end.
Well, you say that. We see a big send from, I believe that was David Dunwoody on Brian Sharp there, and now he's going to drop a little bit to, I believe that is...
It's the 87 Alan Steigerwalt. And Steigerwalt...
Steigerwalt there.
Ryan O'Donohue, by the way, just set the fastest lap of the race. Logan Edwards had went quickest the lap before as we begin lap 4 of 50 here on the P1 Broadcasting Channel. Watching Brian Sharp race with David Dunwoody and Alan Steigerwalt. You got John Houchins in front of him. Big slide from Brian Sharp, and that's something that you're going to see a lot of here at the Coronado Street Course, Caleb. With the bumps and as dirty as this track is, if you hit the throttle in the wrong way or in the wrong place, you're going to spin those rear tires up pretty quick.
Yeah, that was very, very prevalent in the Grand National Series. Even with these trucks making just a little bit less horsepower and having just a tiny bit more grip with how the downforce works on these things still like to light up the tires. It's not as easy as the Grand National cars, but it's still pretty easy to do, to light up the rear tires and get a big slide going. It is a little bit easier to catch than the O'Reilly cars, so but you'll definitely see a lot of these drivers stepping out the rear here. I do want to point out Austin Hunt did get has been passed by Jason Phillips for the third place spot. It was a move in turn number 3. Jason Phillips went at the inside of Austin there, but it looks like Austin ain't done here.
No, and his problem, though, is he's got Matt Sisler in pretty close proximity behind him. So it's he doesn't want to take a whole lot of chances because he could lose another spot. And we saw last night track position here at Coronado is a deal. You don't want to lose track position if you can help it. Austin Hund has lost the third spot to Jason Phillips. Logan Edwards is slowly fading away from Ryan O'Donohue, but both those cars significantly quicker, about a second a lap over Phillips, Hund, and Sisler as we watch the battle for third, fourth, and fifth.
Yeah, it's a very close battle. Austin Hunt deep on the brakes. Gets a little bit tighter line through the force portion, but Jason Phillips able to lay apex the second half of that chicane. We'll see if he's able to carry the momentum to try to make a move, possibly get run down into turn number 2. That seems to be a decent overtaking spot. But Jason Phillips pulls out quite a bit of a gap as they go across the start-finish line.
He does. They come over the lip of that brow right before turn number 3. Caleb, and that's something that caught out a couple of drivers last night. The trucks actually, they're not as bad as the Grand National cars, but they do get airborne for just a split second there. And if you're not lined up for that jump right there in the correct manner, it can turn you loose. You've also got the light rail tracks that go across the course here, very reminiscent of the Champ Car circuit in San Jose. Unlike that circuit, though, Caleb, there's no jumping over the railroad tracks here. They are flush, but it's a different grip level. And speaking of that, this track does have all sorts of different pavement around it. There's some asphalt, there's some concrete, there's some runway. You've got railroad tracks that go back and forth across it. There's all sorts of different grip levels here too.
Yeah, and that's just kind of all over the place with the air base here. Even back when they did the old SVRA vintage speed festivals that they used to do, that track was also a giant mixture of asphalt and concrete, and that's just kind of the nature of this place. It's a mixture of pretty much everything. It's got different surfaces, it's got different widths of the track, different types of corners, a lot of fast corners, a lot of slow corners, very wide in some areas, very narrow in other areas. It's pretty much a mixture of basically every street circuit you can imagine to some degree. But the one thing that's common about it is, well, it's pretty rough out there. It's pretty bumpy.
Yeah, there were tracks that we were trying to compare this to last night. I think probably the closest that you could come to would be Sebring, noted for its bumpiness. Another one might be St. Pete. Long Beach is definitely not this bumpy, Caleb. What are some others that you might think of?
Well, initial bumpiness in terms of street circuits, the one I think of is Belle Isle or even modern IndyCar Detroit, downtown Detroit are the ones that come to mind. But in terms of just raw, bumpiness, I think of like the Sunset Curve at Sebring. That's what a track we compared it to. I imagine it's kind of very similar to that, but you're doing that in the braking zones and the straightaways, and well, you're getting a little bit of air mixed in. There is a little bit of elevation change here, not much, but you do get air in those areas. So that's really the only difference between the bumpiness of Sebring and this track. Well, this one's got a little bit of elevation change where you're actually able to get a decent amount of air off of.
Well, like Sebring, this is using part of an airfield. Sebring, of course, is a deactivated air base. You think about that. Maybe the original configuration of Long Beach when it was a Formula One track, that street course had elevation changes, Caleb.
Could have been. But, that's one track we compared it to. Another one I said was Belle Isle. A lot of the narrow sections of this track feel like Belle Isle in certain case scenarios. It feels like the Belle Isle, basically past Fountain section all the way to the start finish. Some of this area, and then other parts it feels like St. Pete, mainly with like the front straightaway and whatnot. So, but it's kind of like a mixture of like you take the bumpiness of Sunset Curve of Sebring and add the consistency of like Belle Isle, and then just add elements of like St. Pete in terms of like how the track drives.
Right along here with Austin Hund. One of the things that we talked about last night too, and I don't know if we talked about it on the air or not, Caleb, was this track, like the Chicago Street Course, was put together with the assistance of iRacing. Essentially, they went and scanned the area where they wanted to put the track and then kind of built it out in the sim before they did in the real world as we ride along with Austin Hund. But this track is not... they didn't know the final configuration of it for some time, and there have been chicanes added, chicanes taken away, particularly the bus stop style chicane, which is between turns 15 and 16. That's a rather recent addition, isn't it?
Yes, it is indeed, and I do want to point out we had an incident on lap number 6 in carrier corner between Paul Witt and David Dunley. Both of them actually completely missed the braking zone and slammed hard into the outside wall. There was a giant shuffling of positions where Brian Sharp jumped a couple places, as well as Alan Segerwald and John Hutchins. So we might have our first retirements of the race. Not sure. We'll see how much damage those guys have, and whether or not they're able to continue on and keep a decent pace. It looks like they are at the moment. So no, it doesn't seem to be that bad for Dunwoody or Paul Witt.
Yeah, here we go. Here's what Caleb's talking about. The 29 Paul Witt. David Dunwoody is behind him at this point. Paul Witt goes down into carrier corner, and so named because the aircraft carrier Teddy Roosevelt is parked just to the other side of just in the background there. And you're right, Paul Witt missed the corner. He slides up and hits the outside retaining wall. David Dunwoody comes through, misses the corner in the same way, and slams into Paul Witt. Now, I will say this: neither one of those drivers received the meatball. Paul Witt hard on the brakes one more time. He just about got into David Dunwoody again. Neither one of those trucks with the meatball, so it's not as they are not severely damaged. Do want to point out, though, as we head to lap 8, there are some trucks that are entering into a bit of a danger zone. You've got, say, hey, Lewis Hayes. There he is. And behind him, Ted Craven, about 5 seconds back. They're now a minute and 33 and a minute 38 seconds behind the leaders. And they need to be careful because if they don't get going, they're going to go a lap down before the first stage, Caleb.
They might indeed, but we'll see if this battle that kind of looks like it's heating up. Logan Edwards has closed quite a bit of time to our leader Ryan O'Donoghue for the lead of the race here. It seems like Logan able to just kind of save his tires just a little bit better than Ryan O'Donoghue at the moment. That's the reason he's able to close that down, or possibly just maybe a mistake O'Donoghue did that we could have possibly missed there. But Logan Edwards only about 2 to 3 truck lengths behind our leader at the moment.
Yeah, this battle for the lead is going to heat up, and we saw that from Ryan O'Donoghue last night, where his he was a little bit more harsh on the Goodyear rubber than Franco Alvarez, and it wound up costing him in that second stage. We'll see if Logan Edwards can make the move on Ryan O'Donoghue. He was 0.6 of a second quicker the last time through than Ryan O'Donoghue. We'll check it this time through. But there's O'Donoghue, there's Edwards, and Logan is right there on the leader of the race, and O'Donoghue slides hard through, I believe that was turns 10 and 11. He comes around turn 12 down Runway Road.
Into what we'll call the Kubota chicane there. Look, Logan Edwards getting a little bit loose on access into the bus stop Arby's chicane. We may as well just say every sign sponsor because
they have the meats.
They have the meats there.
What's your favorite Arby's? What's your Arby's order, Caleb?
I can't do Arby's. I hate to say it, I cannot do Arby's.
No, not you got. You mean to tell me you don't enjoy a good classic roast beef sandwich?
Not there. I don't think I'll pass on the Arby's meal for undisclosed reasons.
I'll tell you what. I do like the Arby's roast beef, although we buy the fries like at the store. You know what I mean? We buy the Arby curly fries and make them at home all the time.
I will say, yeah, the fries there are good. The couple times I've had it. Sandwiches, I'll take a big pass on that.
I'm gonna go with the roast beef double cheddar, curly fries, and a Dr. Pepper. Might be the only time you've ever heard me think about ordering a Dr. Pepper, Caleb. We are on lap 9 here of a scheduled 50 from the Coronado Street Circuit. You are watching the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. We do want to thank Archway Industrial Coatings for their support of the series. They are a St. Louis-based flooring company that have been getting the job done for years. Epoxy urethane flooring solutions that withstand the test of time, all while meeting customers' installation schedules and budgets. They're committed to doing the highest quality work at the lowest possible cost every single time. Whether you're looking for industrial, commercial, restaurant, retail flooring, or concrete repair at home, you found the perfect partner to get the job done now. Get ready to floor it with Archway. And you can find them at archwaycoatings.com, or you can reach out to Sean Mott, who is a competitor in the AMA series, not here tonight, along with most of the field not being here tonight. Only 15 cars chose to take on the challenge, or 15 trucks, Caleb. But the challenge is right at the front. Logan Edwards is there as they head through the bus stop, going toward turn 16 to start lap number 10.
Yeah, you can see how neat and tidy it seems Logan's got that truck under control. Ryan O'Donohue seems to be stepping out just a little bit through these corners here. Oh, really, really tight and close to that wall. O'Donohue was that time by, but it just seems like Logan just being a little bit smoother with his inputs at the moment and able to just keep the tires underneath it, and that seems to be the main difference, right? As you say that, it looks like he barely tapped that outside wall underneath the braking zone. Going to lose a little bit of time doing that, but we'll see if he's able. He's only got a handful of laps to get the stage, or get the pass for lead for the stage one win here.
Logan Edwards has been a couple of tenths of a second quicker than Ryan O'Donohue each of the last 2 laps. We're riding on board Logan Edwards, and you can see how much the truck of Ryan O'Donohue in front of him is dancing around. It might look controlled from the outside, but these guys are fighting these cars quite a bit around this circuit. Logan misses the braking zone there, headed into turn 6. Big snap oversteer after turn 7, now through turn 8. This is the Camping World section of the course. This is where it gets really narrow and really wide in just a few corners. And Logan Edwards, he got to the rear bumper of Ryan O'Donohue, and now he's fallen a second behind in just about half a lap's time, Caleb. As they approach Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Brian Sharp is already on pit road. So Say Hey Lewis Hayes would go to be in the first car a lap down. Ted Craven is just about 2 seconds up the road from Lewis Hayes, and we could already have a battle for the lucky dog spot, Caleb.
We could indeed. I was able to catch the incident with Brian Sharp. We talked about earlier that last corner hitting the outside wall. It caught out Brian Sharp on lap number 8 going to lap number 9, and that looks to be it didn't give him a meatball. He doesn't have a meatball now, but possibly going to go multiple laps down here because of it.
Yeah, he's been on pit lane now for 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and you wonder, part of that may be a tow. There is no meatball on the number 125 Chevrolet, but it is in the pit lane for the foreseeable future as we work lap number 11 of 50 here at the Coronado Street Circuit. Do want to thank everybody for joining in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you can get in on all of the iRacing fun. Tomorrow at 2, it's a big one, Caleb. The iRacing IndyCar Series goes to Road America. That is always one of the bigger races of the season. Usually draws a pro-level crowd to go run that race. I don't think I'll be in the top split for that one, but I'm definitely going to tune it in.
Hey, you could gain about 6,000 I rating in 12-ish hours. I believe in you, Murph.
I don't know that I'd need 6,000. I think my road I rating's right about 21. Oh, what is it? 2254. So I'd probably need 3,000.
Need 3,000 for Road America IAS. I will say the first 2 slots were quite a number of fast drivers just in those first 2, and I guarantee, and I think it's split, 7 splits just in today's slot alone. So tomorrow it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a popular one. I do want to point out there has been a very, very good battle for just inside the top 10 between John Hutchins, David Dunwoody. Paul Witt was also part of that battle, but he's kind of dropped off a little bit. But Dunwoody, he's gained, he's lost, he's gained, he's lost. He's got a good run through the second turn here. These guys have really been going at it really the entire duration of the first stage. Paul Witt was also involved. Dunwoody looks up the inside, possibly misses breaking point just a tad bit late there, but no harm, no foul. But basically, Dunwoody, Witt, and Hutchins, Paul Witt has fallen off a little bit, but they've been going at it for the entire duration of the first stage.
They have, and look, these places mean something for these drivers. John Hutchins is currently not in the top 10 in points. David Dunwoody just inside it. Of course, James Hodgson is not here. Say Lewis Hayes will likely go by him, but John Hutchins, with a good run here tonight, can definitely put himself back into contention for the top 10 in the series and get himself get himself up into that top 10. And look, John Hutchins is a race winner in the AMA, right? I mean, he's a pretty handy driver. So if he can get into that 10-car chase, he might be able to do some damage. And David Dunwoody, he might do some damage to John Hutchins' rear bumper. He is all over that thing.
But he's got a little bit of right front damage, but he has been sliding the rear end of that Chevrolet all over this place. They go into the Gabota chicane. He has a decent line there. We'll see if he has a decent enough momentum to carry it forward through the bus stop. He backs out of it, though. We'll see if he's able to carry it onto the front straightaway. He gets a tighter line than Hutchins there. Gets a very, very good run. He might get something off the exit of turn number 1 if he's able to keep the momentum, but I think he backed off just a little bit too much there. So we watched that battle. I do want to point.
Dunwoody smacks the wall. Yeah, David Dunwoody smokes the fence, and that's going to hurt that Chevrolet. Worth noting, Ted Craven has now gone a lap down, and Paul Witt at a minute 39, minute 40 seconds behind the leaders. He's not out of the woods of going a lap down either. The battle for the lead is heated back up, Caleb. We've got 3 laps to go in the stage.
No, that was the final lap, lap 12. It's 12:24, Murph.
12 and 24. Okay, so they did move the stages for this one.
However, they race it till P10 crosses a line. So right. This battle is still going.
Right. Well, yesterday we saw that where it wound up giving them an extra lap in the second stage, and it's going to be that way in this one. John Hutchins is a minute 37 behind, so they're effectively going to go. They're going to pick up the pace car an extra lap behind the counter, Caleb, and so they'll have 13 complete when they pick up the pace car. So they won't go back to green until what, lap 16?
Yeah, probably. It'll be a very, very short, only about 8 laps really. 7 or 8 laps of green flag running for the second stage here. But right now, I'm looking at where 10th place is as John Hutchins. He's going through the Pink Casino section of the racetrack. He's going through that tight left-hander now onto the long left-hander. So he's got Logan Edwards looks up the inside. He's got just a little under a third of a lap here to try to get that move for the first place spot in the stage. A little bit too far back. Does he think anything in the Pink Casino section?
He doesn't. Logan Edwards thought about it. He thought about firing it in there, but Logan wisely backed out. He knows there's still time. You can make that move at any time. You don't need to make it here. Ryan O'Donoghue still leads away, but the front 2 locked right together, Caleb.
All right, man. Caution.
There's the yellow.
Caution is out.
Yellow flag is out. Hutchins crosses the line in P10. Ryan O'Donoghue will get your stage win here. Logan Edwards in second.
And with that stage win, Ryan O'Donoghue does take the points for track racer stage break number 1. If you go to trackracer.com and you use the web address with the promo code, just like it's in the chat, 5% of your order will go to the AMA prize pool. That's trackracer.com, and then you want to put in the web address just as it shows. And there we go. The O'Donoghue and Logan Edwards are coming through the pit straight, and they have completed the 13th lap. They will start lap 14 before they cross up behind the pace car, and there they are from the helicopter. The P1 helicopter giving these pictures, and there they are. So we're not going to get to pit stops until the completion of lap 14, which means the second stage is only going to be 7 or 8 laps long, Caleb.
Basically a sprint race at that point. A sprint race of, let's see, 22-ish miles or 25 miles-ish.
It's not much. The track here is just a hair over 3 miles. We were talking about that yesterday. Road America, the Augusta International Raceway, now defunct in Georgia, was over 3 miles, and this one are the 3 longest circuits that NASCAR has ever contested a race on. And it shows not only in the lap times, but Augusta, Road America, both noted for being very, very fast. This track very tight and very twisty, as you see Ryan O'Donoghue lead Logan Edwards and Jason Phillips under the admin box caution flag here. If you're a race controller, if you're a league admin, if you run hosted sessions, you need to get an admin box. You can check them out. It's www.adminbox.com. That's 2 X's on the admin box. We'll see Fish at the Sim Gaming Expo. Caleb, are we gonna invite him up for hot wings too?
I thought it was open invitation, to be honest.
Who's paying the bill for all these? That's what I want to know.
You are.
I'm paying a bit. So who's buying the refreshments?
No, you are.
So
notice how I immediately always goes to Murph. He pays for everything.
You would be the guy in Smokey and the Bandit that would be standing on the side writing on a notepad, send bill to Mark Murphy M.
Yeah, but basically, I mean, that's how it pretty much worked last year for a large portion of it.
That's very true. That was a great time. And if you're in the Chicago area, or you want to come in for it, I know there's people not only from the IndyCar community, the AMA community, are going to be there. Check them out. That's simgamingexpo.com. Buy yourself some tickets. That's going to be a heck of a show. There's all sorts of competitions that are going to happen. Caleb Brashear here won the inaugural Open Wheel Invitational. I have the distinction of having finished last in that event after a great run at Michigan turned into a lawn dart at the end. But it's a great time. Sean Roberts chimed in the chat and said the Baltimore Street Circuit also had railroad tracks. I do recall that they had railroad tracks, but they weren't ski jumps like San Jose. San Jose was odd because it was launching champ cars at like 150 miles an hour straight up in the air, and they were getting a foot or two off the ground and then slamming back down every lap. There was no way to avoid it either. Whereas they were a little bit more flush at Baltimore. It wasn't quite that effective. But if you want to see a wild thing, just Google Champ Car San Jose Railroad Track, and it's. I can't see how the FIA actually allowed that, Caleb.
It's crazy to think, the tracks we used to race on, even 20 years ago. Do you think that's been 20 years ago at this point they raced at San Jose, and the safety standards that they had back then, and you look at today, it's like, we really did that back then, didn't we? The great thing about social media is everybody piles into the pit lane here. They're going to be led by Ryan O'Donoghue. Nobody is going to stay out, I wouldn't think. At least I wouldn't think.
even say, hey, Lewis Hayes, the lap, 1 lap down. And look, it doesn't make any sense for Lewis. It doesn't make any sense for Lewis to stay out. Ted Craven takes his waiver on. It doesn't make any sense for him to stay out because the second stage is only going to be, if they're going to throw the yellow at 24, it's only going to be 8 laps. There'd be no way that Ted Craven would lose a lap in 8 laps. So say, hey, Lewis Hayes, he's gonna ride around. It is worth noting Logan Edwards taking some time for repair. He will drop back to the pit stop.
He missed his pit box there, Murph.
He missed his pit. Okay, there you go.
He didn't have any damage. He missed his pit box, and by the time that left side went off, Ryan O'Donohue was already started on his right. So
David Dunwoody chimes in the chat. He wants to know where the pace car is so he can be perfect. Caleb, let's get who do we want to talk to? Let's get Dunwoody up here. David Dunwoody, you've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. You hear us?
What's going on?
We'll save you the trouble of typing. We'll just pull you in the booth here. You're on pit road getting affecting some repair. You said you wanted to know where the pace car was because you wanted to be perfect. Right now, it's not even halfway around the track, so you've got some time. But talk to us about the conditions out there. How bumpy is it?
After last night, the bumps really aren't that bad. Like I'm not worried about the bumps tonight. Just that big one on the back straightaway on the left side. It feels like the marbles are worse tonight.
Yeah, we can see the dust flying whenever you get offline. So I'm assuming that it's pretty slippery. You going to be able to get that 28 fixed and get back out on the lead lap and keep on trucking?
I got 5 minutes left. We should be able to get most of it fixed here under yellow.
There you go. Well, we'll put you back with Brian. We'll put you back with Brian so that you two can continue the run. Good talking to you, David, and keep going fast, having fun, buddy.
Thank you.
That is David Dunwoody. Let's see. How about we grab the leader of the race, Ryan O'Donohue. Ryan, you've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. You hear us?
I believe you dragged him in, Murph.
I dragged him in with Dunwoody and Sharp. Ryan O'Donohue, you've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, it's a long caution lap here at Coronado, so we're trying to entertain the fans at home. What words of wisdom do you have? You and Logan Edwards putting on a show. Logan overshot his pit box, so he's buried a little bit. You've got a shorter stage too. What's the plan here, boss?
Well, with it being a little bit shorter, I'm not as concerned about. I definitely want to hang on to a little more tire there. I could see in the mirror where Logan was beating me and where I was a little better than him. So it was kind of evening out throughout the lap. It's a long lap, so it kind of ebbs and flows. I got to keep a little more rear tire on it, I think. He's definitely beat me in the Red Bull. It's kind of usually Logan backs up the entries a little further. I've learned a lot from him, trying to do that myself here and drive away from out the corner. But yeah, we'll see. I feel good about it. Hopefully he can work his way back through. I'm not sure how deep he is, but we just got to click off 35 more with no mistakes and see what we got for the end.
There you go, Caleb. Do you have anything for the race leader?
What is your favorite advertising board that they got around here on the track?
Lewis read one out earlier, something about a hobby shop being open at certain days, certain hours. And I thought that was pretty funny. But going through Arby's is making me pretty hungry here, so I like that one. I'm not very good in this section, but I could go for an Arby's.
Well, there you go. Caleb says he doesn't like Arby's. So what's your Arby's order?
Oh, I haven't had Arby's in a long time. I saw an advertisement earlier though on during watching the practice of the track on the trucks. It was some kind of new cheesesteak. So I'm a cheesesteak guy. I'll take that one.
There you go. We're going to put Rhino Donahue back with Say Hey Lewis Hayes and Sam Crow. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. Good luck in the second stage and for the rest of the night if we
Thank you,
don't
sir.
talk to you. That's Rhino Donahue. We'll continue to talk to drivers throughout this race. We're getting ready to go back. It's one lap to green, so we won't bother them any further. But always nice to have that option, Caleb.
Always indeed. Just get, a little bit of thoughts from the drivers here. I did ask the old Narc Brain. He hasn't responded yet. So possibly the next stage, Caution will get him into the interview room and get his thoughts on, the racing conditions here today. But they're going to go side by side, 1 to green here. But we still got another 5 minutes before it goes green here.
We do. In order for Logan to be interviewed, he does need to be in the Discord. So I can't pull him in if he's not in here, Caleb.
I know which Discord he's in. I cannot drag him from another Discord into this Discord. That seems to be the problem.
I mean, I'm fairly certain I know where he is as well. But you're right. You can't. It's a limitation of the system, right? It works very, very well, but you can't drag people from one Discord to another. That would be wonderful if you could, though.
I feel like there'd be an abuse of power there. Just a little bit.
Me abuse my power? Never. Ha ha ha. This is something that would kind of drive me a little nuts. Is this too wide pace lap? Just because the track can be narrow and it's dirty offline, you get a lot of pickup on your tires if you're Ryan O'Donoghue running not in the preferred line, and that can play up when you come back to get the green flag, can't it, Caleb?
It could a little bit, but probably by the time you get those tires warmed up a little bit, the pickup might be gone. So it would affect the car a little bit on the cold tires, but everybody knows that you kind of, take it easy for, the first half lap around here. At least for this track, it's about half a lap. So as long as you take it easy around there, just be a little bit extra careful if you got some pickup. It shouldn't play too much of a factor, especially with how big and bulky these trucks are. If it was something like a Formula car or like an Indy car, yeah, that would be very, very prevalent. It'd probably be a while before you didn't feel it anymore. But in these big, bulky trucks, it'd probably be near next to nothing with the pickup.
There you go. Logan Edwards will line up third or fourth on the restart, not fifth as I had originally called out. So that's good news for Logan in that he'll be on row 2. He's not going to have to pass. He's not going to have to pass as many trucks, although he's on the wrong side of the track, and so we'll watch his progress certainly. You can see what I'm talking about with the pickup. They're kicking up dust, going offline 2 by 2. Either way, O'Donoghue and Phillips going to line up row 1. Edwards, Kendall Paul, row 2. Sean Roberts, Austin Hund, 5th and 6th. Sam Crow, John Houchins, Alan Steigerwalt, Paul Witt round out the top 10. Matt Sizzler will go from 11th. David Dunwoody will join him on row 6. Then Ted Craven, final car on the lead lap. Say Hey Lewis Hayes, 1 lap down in 14th. Brian Sharp has been in the pit lane for 23 minutes and counting. And we're pretty doggone close, Caleb, to getting back to the green flag here in what will be a very short stage number 2.
Very short stage number 2, but it should be just as or it should be a little bit better action in my opinion, or at least it should be due to it's going to be a little bit more of a bullfight with how short it's going to be. We might get some a little bit closer side-by-side action. A couple drivers pushing a little bit harder against their other competitors out there just to try to pick up spots. And, one of those drivers is Logan Edwards, and he's got to get, back up towards the front. He's got to get around Kendall Paul and Jason Phillips, 2 very strong, not only Truck Series drivers, but road course drivers as well.
There they are. Jason Phillips has proven to be a thorn in the side of the battle for the podium. We'll see what he can do with Ryan O'Donoghue. The pace truck is going to make a right-hand turn. Field under the control of Ryan O'Donoghue, and they will get in the restart zone immediately. Green flag is out. Racing resumes. We're going to go what I believe would be 7 laps for the second stage. O'Donoghue gets the lead clear into turn 1. Logan Edwards drives around the outside of Kendall Paul, and he will immediately set his sights on Jason Phillips.
Yes, he will indeed. A little bit further back, Sean Roberts went side by side with Austin Hunn. Austin Hunn had to yield. Sam Crow had a little bit of a look behind him. Logan Edwards dives up the inside of Jason Phillips. Just able to clear it there, up into the second spot. It only took about 3 corners, Murph, and he's already on the back end of Ryan O'Donoghue and hunting for the lead here. Right now, it's fairly single file. A little bit further back, John Hutchins, Alan Steigerwald, and Matt Sizzler are all pretty close together as they go into Qualcomm Carrier Corner. A little bit loose there from John Hutchins. It looks like he's going to have Alan Steigerwald look around the outside here.
Say Hey Lewis Hayes just drilled the wall coming out of Carrier Corner in the background, and that's going to make his day go from bad to worse. Caleb, Say Hey Lewis Hayes now falling deeper into the field, now falling deeper behind the field. As we look, Logan Edwards has closed the gap all the way right back to Ryan O'Donoghue, and they have left Jason Phillips one more time. Over a second is in it between second and third, but there is no room between first and second.
No, there is not. Logan Edwards, really deep around the outside. He's going to lose a ton of time doing that. Jason Phillips closes the gap just a little bit. Right behind them, Sean Roberts and Kendall Paul are going to go at it a little bit, but that gap separates a little bit as they go come out of the Pink Casino section into the Capote chicane there, and Logan Edwards seems to close that gap just a tiny bit there. I did see in the background Sam Crow and the left-hander did go a little bit wide, lost a position there to Matt Sizzler. So Logan Edwards drifting coming across the start-finish line.
He is. He's going to drop about half a second back from Ryan O'Donoghue. Meanwhile, there are further battles on the course. Kendall Paul holds down 4th. He's got Sean Roberts and Austin Hund 5th and 6th right behind him. And so these 3 are going to do battle. That's Kendall Paul 4th, Sean Roberts 5th, Austin Hund 6th. That's Matt Sizzler just behind them in 7th. And so a nice 4-way fight brewing for the 4th spot. Sam Crow just a little bit further back in the 8th position. Paul Witt has gone off course, and that's allowed Ted Craven to get past him. A little bit further back into the field, but this is by far the best battle we've got. Sean Roberts, Austin Hund. Austin Hund has proved pretty racy today, Caleb. He qualified up front, got in the wall a little bit, lost some spots, but he's looking to gain some of that back here.
Yes, he is. He's been kind of just lurking at the moment on the back of Sean Roberts. Drifts coming off the Red Bull chicane, but he maintains the momentum forward. Matt Sizzler closes that gap just a little bit. Austin Hunt, he's had a fairly good couple recent results. He hasn't won yet on the season though, but he's had a couple, top 5 finishes. He's been running in the lead most of the time in back in Nashville and Charlotte. So he's had a couple, strong runnings here, and he's running just outside a top 5 position and hunting the likes of Sean Roberts for that top 5.
He most certainly is. We're tracking this battle between Roberts, Hund, Kendall Paul, Sean Roberts, Austin Hund, and Matt Sizzler. Sizzler is involved a little bit. He's about 10 car lengths down to Austin Hund. Well, maybe 5 car lengths, maybe not 10, but he's back there. We've got a 4-way battle for the 4th spot. But the battle for the lead has been heating up too. Logan Edwards is not allowing Ryan O'Donoghue to get away as he did at the beginning of the last stage. And Jason Phillips is keeping pace with these guys too. He's not yet fallen a second behind Logan Edwards as they did in the previous stage. Matter of fact, he's just about a part of this fight for the lead as well.
Yes, he is indeed. It seems like he's picked up, a couple, possibly just watching a tour in front, picked up a couple tips from them, just watching how they drive. A little bit further back, though, the battle for fourth place position is spicing up a little bit. Kendall Paul has dropped a little bit of Sean Roberts. Sean Roberts has dropped a little bit to Austin Hunt. Austin's got a run going into the Red Bull chicane here, but Sean Roberts...
He's going to peak. He's going to peak.
He's going to... Really deep. Does he keep out of the wall?
I don't think he hit it. He'll grab reverse, but that's going to cost Sean Roberts 5 spots. He'll drop, or 4 spots. He'll drop back to 8th. A big dive from Sean Roberts comes up empty. Kendall Paul continues on, but he's still got trouble coming from Austin Hunt.
Yes, he does indeed. Matt Sizzler was also part of that battle, and conveniently, right when Sean Roberts had that big send and had to stop, Matt Sizzler got a little bit loose through that right-hand bit of the Red Bull chicanes, and but lost a little bit of time. Not too terribly much. Nothing he can't regain, but he's got Sam Crow all over the back of him.
Yes, he does. There's that fight between Sizzler and Crow. Matt Sizzler runs along in 6th. Sam Crow is 7th. And there you see the gap between them. But Austin Hunt, Kendall Paul, this battle has not cooled off. Austin Hunt is glued to the rear of that number 78 machine. We've seen him pop a couple of times, but he hasn't had quite enough steam to draw alongside Kendall Paul. They start the 20th lap here. And remember, just 4 more until we get a stage caution. Caleb, smoke him if you got him on the tires. You're not worried about wearing them out here, are you?
Absolutely not. You're going to put on a new set of Goodyear rubber at the end of stage number 2, like you always do on a road course. The tire fall off is that much, and you're not going to really, unless something catastrophic happens in a stage, you really don't ever get a normal caution on a road course here in the AMA. But again, unless a massive pile up happens or something similar to that. So you may as well just burn them while you got them. Push as hard as you can in stage number 2. It's going to be the shortest stage. Therefore, it's you may as well just go as fast as you possibly can.
You've been around this game an awful long time. Have you ever seen a full course yellow on a road course that's triggered by iRacing, or have they all been manual in your experience?
No, they've always been manual. I have, and even then, it's been very, very seldom when they do deploy. Austin Hunt having a good run on Kendall Paul, but still just a little bit too far back. But the couple times I've seen it happen in the FIS. I've seen it in the FSS as well that we host here on P1. FIS actually starting in a couple weeks in July. I want to say July 9th was St. Petersburg with that race, but is their first race of the season. So that's a series I've seen a full course caution at the Nürburgring. Whoa! In the background there, I believe that was Sam Crow having a half spin there.
It was
Sam Crow.
Yeah, here's Sam, cured by cookies, and he's going to need a cookie. Gets the rear brakes locked up. He doesn't spin all the way around, but he does get the truck all the way sideways and bring it almost to a full stop. That's going to allow Sean Roberts to pass him back into the 7th spot. So Sam Crow, and now Sam hard in the wall at the front straightaway. And that's going to be bigger damage for Sam. Lights up the rear tires, just turns the thing left, hard in the wall. He is lucky that didn't blow the engine in that number 8 Ram. He gets the tires lit back up and gets it spun back around. But Sam Crow, all kinds of problems here as we near the end of the second stage.
Yeah, we near the end of the second stage, and we still have a couple of battles on track. Logan Edwards hunting the rear end of Brian O'Donohue. He's about a half seconds behind him. But the battle fourth at the moment is getting a little bit spicier. Murph Gendale got a little bit loose off the corner exit, but so did Austin Hunn as they go into the Red Bull chicane hard onto the brakes. Kendall Paul sends it in really deep, but so does Austin Hunn. And now they got Matt Silzer showing himself in this fight.
Yes, he is. Matt Sizzler, you see him just about 5 car lengths back. Austin Hund, well, there are times you couldn't fit a sheet of paper between the front of the 15 and the rear of the 78 of Kendall Paul, and he's trying everything he can. He's taking some different lines through these corners. He's braking a little bit sooner. He's trying to get the push off the corner, get the run through the corner, so he's got some more straightaway speed to make that dive, but he can't quite do it. And Kendall Paul straight lines the chicane. That's going to hurt Kendall Paul here a little bit. He's going to get the slowdown, and that might let Austin Hunt and Matt Sizzler go by him.
Well, Austin kind of shoved him into that. There was a big bump going into the braking zone there, though. Gendale had to take evasive action there to not hit that tire bundle.
Here comes Matt Sizzler on Austin Hunt.
Matt Sizzler up the inside, now the outside. Actually, kind of makes that move look kind of easy there, Murph. Caught him sleeping.
He did, and really for Sizzler, what a great move that was. But did you notice what he did? It was almost like a squeeze move toward that tire bundle, and that's the other thing. The chicanes here are just tire bundles. They're not marked out with walls or anything. They're just tire bundles. And you do not want to hit one of those. Matter of fact, we had a car hit one last night, and it wrote the thing off.
Yeah, they're a lot harder in iRacing than they are in real life.
And they're not light in real life either. Let's be fair about that. Kind of monitoring the progress of Say Hey Lewis Hayes. There he is. He's got Ted Craven behind him. And the reason that we're looking at Lewis Hayes right now, one, we like Lewis. He's a good guy. But the other reason that we're looking at Lewis Hayes, he's one lap down. If he can hold on to the lead lap here for another couple of tours of the naval base, he's going to get back on the lead lap. So he'll have a chance to make up positions at the end. Say Hey Lewis Hayes continues to circulate in 14th. Yes?
Jason Phillips hard into the wall at Camping World section. Locks him up.
All right. Well, let's have a look at it. Here's Jason Phillips. He's going through that very narrow section at Red Bull. That's turns 7 and 8. And he's coming down toward the Coronado chicane. I think he just overcooked it, Caleb. Big lick, too.
Absolutely massive lick. And right now, well, you can see Kendall Paul right there. I wonder if Jason Phillips has got any suspension damage he's going to have to try to manage with that. That was a very, very hard lick with the wall there.
Yeah, you don't want to pit right now just because you're going to lose a ton of time. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead is red hot. Ryan O'Donohue still leads, but he's got the old narc brain, Logan Edwards, right behind him in hot pursuit, and Edwards is as close as he's been we've only got a couple of laps to go in the stage. So if he wants to win the stage as Logan Edwards, he needs to go, and he needs to go now. The problem is there's not really another passing zone for about half a lap, Caleb. He's going to have to kind of keep his powder dry until he gets at least through turns 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Well, we've seen overtaking opportunities. This is actually a decent one. He gets a little bit loose on entry, able to gather it back up. But this straightaway that he's actually on now is a decent overtaking opportunity. It's just very easy to defend here as they go into the Red Bull chicane. You don't want to go side by side here. We've seen cars yesterday do it in the Grand National race. We really haven't seen it too much here in the Truck Series, but it is possible to go side by side. Not very ideal to do it though, but you can see how much in the back there. Logan getting a little bit deep as they go into the Camping World section, but still able to keep the momentum going forward. He is hunting that number 14 of Ryan O'Donohue.
He is, but you got to wonder, is all that sliding around that Logan Edwards is doing, and you see it there one more time, is all that sliding around he's doing hurting the rear tire such that he's just kind of burning them up, and he won't be able to go forward when he needs it. This should be, this time through, would be the final lap of the stage. Now, Ted Craven is 1 minute and 33 seconds adrift, and so I think, Caleb, we're going to see something very similar to last stage where the leaders are going to run what amounts to an extra lap here, because minute 33 is, I mean, Ted Craven won't go a lap down, but he is about 15 seconds a lap off the pace of the leaders, so he's going to very nearly be a lap down when they come to complete the stage.
Yeah, and if he does go a lap down, that'll trap Say Lewis Hayes. Basically trapped a lap down for the remainder of the race unless he takes a wave around. We do think they have to pit in the third stage here. It's just slightly too long to make it on fuel, so maybe he could try to work out some strategy if he takes a wave around. But this is theoretically the final lap of the stage. However, John Hutchins is just over a minute behind. He's in the 10th place position. When he crosses the line, he'll bring out the stage 2 caution. But he is about just over a minute behind here. So it'll basically be, they come to lap 25, and they'll probably get to just past the Rebel section when that stage caution finally flies. So they got basically a lap from here, basically, to settle this thing out for the win in stage number 2.
Yes, it is, and that's not going to be enough, I think, to trigger the extra lap, Caleb. At least I don't think it would be. They're gonna get about halfway back around, but they would need to be somewhere in the vicinity of the bus stop in order for the pace car to not get out in time to collect them. And so I don't think we're gonna have that extra lap. Logan Edwards sliding through turns. I mean, he was full drift through 10 and 11 there. Caleb, he is not sparing the rod on these tires. Austin Hunn, meanwhile, has caught Kendall Paul.
Yeah, he has, and Kendall's actually closed that gap, or Matt Sizzler has actually gotten around Kendall Paul at one point. I'm not exactly sure when, but Kendall Paul slots back into the 5th place position, and now he has to fend off Austin Hunn to try to hold on to the top 5 here.
Well, we think the 78 does have damage, and his lap times would indicate that he does. He's about 2 seconds off of Hund and Sizzler, about 4 seconds off the leaders. And so if you're Austin Hund and you're looking at that truck in front of you, if he's got damage, how hard do you fight knowing you're going to have a pit stop here? You're probably going to go buy him anyway.
Yeah, that's always a good case in point. Kendall Paul possibly does have some damage. It looks like he's got a little bit of right front from a wall contact earlier, but he's still kind of, he's doing 2:16s, which isn't too massively off the pace. It's about a couple seconds. If you look at Ryan O'Donohue, he's doing 2:14s. Logan Edwards also doing a 2:14, obviously. Kendall, 2:16s. But Austin Hunn looking very, very racy. This is technically lap 25. Get a little bit loose going over those tracks there.
It wasn't loose. He hit the wall. It wasn't loose. He hit the wall. Meanwhile, up toward the Coronado chicane come the leaders, and we should be getting the yellow just about any time. There it is for Ryan O'Donohue and Logan Edwards. And so they will catch the pace car lap 25 of 50, and we are under the admin box yellow flag for Blackmagic Studios. Stage break number 2. Blackmagic Studios are a small operation dedicated to high quality iRacing paints and wraps for any car. You can visit them on Discord or Facebook for your next iRacing paint. I can personally vouch for that. If you see me on the track, it is behind the wheel of a Blackmagic Studios wrapped machine. They are going to go the extra lap, by the way. The stage yellow was supposed to come out at 25 or 24, excuse me. They are on 25 now, so they will complete 25. They won't be able to come to pit lane until 26, and that makes the fuel save, Caleb, a pretty interesting proposition, does it not?
Well, I think you could do about 20 laps here in the trucks. You're able to go a little bit longer in the Grand National cars. It's going to be right on the edge if you try to fuel save it. But even then, do you lose to, the pit lanes here is not particularly long at all. It's actually pretty short, even for a road course pit lane. And, if you try to fuel save in these trucks and make it to the end, how much time are you going to lose doing that? So it's kind of like a draw whether or not you even want to attempt that strategy, because it's going to be about a 2 to 3 lap save, and it's not like we're at a half mile to where you just got to save a little bit. It's a 3.5 mile track. You got to save quite a bit of fuel to try to make it to the end in stage number 3 without stopping at all. So
you would.
It's going to be a stretch.
It's going to be a stretch. If you're, you got 25 to go, you're going to pit with 24 to go. You're going to have at least 2 more laps of caution. So, can you save 2 laps? That's going to be a pretty tall order. This would definitely be something where if I was in a tight battle with somebody, I might consider a gas and go.
That could be a good case scenario. I'll tell you what, we got the old narc brain in the waiting room here. We could possibly get his opinion on the matter here. There he is.
There's Logan Edwards. Logan, you've got Murph, you've got Caleb in the broadcasting booth. I'm watching you on the screen. We'll be quiet when you get into pit lane. What are you thinking for strategy here at the end of this deal? Do you think you can make it? And if you can or can't, how close is it?
I do not think I can make it, and it's close, but full push we can only do about 20 laps, and got a fair bit more than that at the end here, and I don't think it's worth saving that much fuel around a track like this.
You'd have to lift and coast an awful lot to accomplish that. Caleb, what are you thinking? What are you thinking for Logan here?
Well, I guess I asked O'Donohue. There's quite a bit of advertising boards around the circuit. Which is your favorite advertising board around this air base here?
I'm not to say iRacing, because every time I see the iRacing banner on the Fox broadcast, or pretty much any NASCAR broadcast, but I don't really notice it on Fox, so I say, hey, look, it's iRacing, so.
Let me ask you this. Do you have a favorite scene around here? There's all sorts of cool stuff parked around this thing. You got aircraft carrier, you got helicopters, you got fighter jets. There's a drone painted like William Byron's race car. Is there a favorite sight as you go past the VS22 Osprey there on your right-hand side?
I'm going to say it's the Osprey. Actually went on an air show recently and saw 3 of them, all in different VTOL configurations, which was pretty cool. So I have to go with the Osprey, even though they're a pain to repair.
They are wild looking though, and it's wild to see them. My dad's place in Pensacola is pretty close to NAS Pensacola, so we see those things quite a bit. It's pretty nuts to see the wings start to tilt up and the rotors start to go vertical, but it works, right?
Yeah.
So we'll let you go so we don't mess up your pit stop, Logan. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy, and good luck here in this final stage.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That's the old narc brain, Logan Edwards. We'll let him go, and then do want to point out, Say Hey Lewis Hayes is the only car on the not on the lead lap, and so he will get the waiver, or he will get the lucky dog here the next time through. And then once we do that, as everybody comes to the pit lane, once we do that, we should get the green, 22 to go, Caleb?
Let's see. They're gonna go
You're gonna
across for. Yeah, it's gonna be 23, I believe. Well, no, it's gonna be.
It'd
It's
be
gonna be
20.
22.
It'd be 22 because they're going to do 2 laps of caution after every. Because you got to have one now, and then you got to give the lucky dog a chance to pit, and then you got to have 1 lap of pacing. So 22 would be it. We're going to watch the race off of pit road. Everybody but say Hey Lewis Hayes has come to the attention of their pit crews as they fly back around.
And Logan gets the jump.
Logan Edwards will beat Ryan O'Donoghue off a pit lane, and now those roles are reversed. Ryan O'Donoghue was 0.7 of a second slower in his pit box, a 15.2 to a 14.5 pit stop, and that's the difference. Matt Sizzler is now third. Kendall Paul fourth. Sean Roberts comes out fifth. Austin Hund got some damage repaired. He is sixth. Jason Phillips, Sam Crow still in their pit boxes. Alan Steigerwalt has temporarily left the session, but he has still scored ninth. John Houchins 10th. He's on pit road, so too Paul Witt and Ted Craven. David Dunwoody and Say Hey Lewis Hayes. Dunwoody gets the black flag, too fast entering. Say Hey Lewis Hayes gets his lap back, and he is currently marching around the circuit trying to get back to his pit box, Caleb, so that he can make his pit stop. Alan Steigerwalt appears to have disconnected, Caleb. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, he is disconnected from the session after he took all 4 set of tires there. I don't know exactly why, but
Does it appear to be a manual disconnect, or is it for?
It was a manual disconnect.
Okay, so talk about the 2 different kinds of disconnect that you'll see in iRacing, Caleb.
Well, you got what we call, what I like to call the manual disconnect, and then you got what is iRacing hates you disconnect, in which they decide your internet goes out, you got your packet loss. It's typically always packet loss gets you on iRacing to where you basically iRacing will lose internet connection due to the amount of resources you have on your computer going at the same time. If one of those kind of briefly disconnects for a moment in time, iRacing kind of freaks out, and it'll basically kick you out of the session for not having an efficient internet for a brief moment in time. And then the other one is just manual disconnect. That's where you physically just leave the race session. So
Right. So if it's a manual disconnect, that means that he elected to remove himself, and there can be all sorts of different reasons. We got to remember, this is after all a game, and it's a very high quality game. It's one that we all spend quite a bit of money to do. But at the end of the day, Caleb, it's a game. And life happens. We don't know what's happened to Alan Steigerwalt, but he has effectively retired while running this race in the 7th spot. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you can get involved in all of P1's iRacing fun. Do also want to thank series sponsor Archway Industrial Coatings. They are a St. Louis-based flooring company. They've been getting the job done for a number of years over there. They're epoxy and urethane. I can't talk, Caleb. Urethane flooring solutions withstand the test of time, all while meeting customers' installation schedules and budgets. They're committed to doing the highest quality work at the lowest possible cost every time. Whether you're looking for industrial, commercial, restaurant, retail, flooring, or concrete repair at home, you found the perfect partner to get the job done now and get ready to floor it with Archway. David Dunwoody said he thinks they can make 21 laps on fuel. So at 21, you're still not making it home, Caleb. You'd still be a lap short. Now, let me ask you this. if if you were at the back, would you be tempted to come and do a gas and go right at the beginning? Like do one lap, come in, or 2 laps, come in, just plug the fuel in, get enough gas to make it to the end, and just let that be your stop? Would you be tempted to do that?
I thought about that earlier, and even I thought if you're somebody like, in this case scenario, O'Donohue stays in second, possibly, and you're getting held up by Logan, possibly just pitting on lap 2 and going to the back of the field. Now, if you do that, you might catch, traffic later on in the run, but it might, it might be worth just pitting on lap 2 or 3, getting, splash and go, and just trying to get open track and just push as hard as you can. The only problem with that is, well, you don't have a reference point for how fast everybody else is going and how you need to push the envelope. That's one thing that I've always struggled if I ever go off strategy, is I don't know how hard I really need to push because I don't have a reference point on how fast everybody else is going. So it's an idea, but it's one that could pay off, or it could also bite you in the butt there. So,
Well, I'm thinking about if you're if you're toward the back anyway, to give you, you're not going to go a lap down, but to give you a chance to run some pressure-free laps. Tires matter, but if you're back there, it might not matter as much, and you're kind of forcing everybody else's hand, right? They know that you've done that, and they know that they're essentially operating with about a 13-second handicap. So, I don't know. I'd try it, but I'm not nearly as good a road racer as some of these other guys. Logan Edwards, Ryan O'Donohue, going to line up on row 1. Matt Sisler, Kendale Paul, row 2. Sean Roberts, Austin Hund will make up row 3. Then Jason Phillips, John Houchins, row 4. Sam Crow, Ted Craven, row 5. Paul Witt, David Dunwoody are going to start 11th and 12th. Say, hey, Lewis Hayes has finally made it to his pit box, and he needs to get going, Caleb, because, well, his comrades are just about halfway through their lap.
yeah, they're going up into the Red Bull chicane at the moment. So he's got the foot down at the going into turn number 1. So I think he'll eventually catch him, but he'll probably catch him. He's got David Dunwoody as well, Lewis Hayes and Dunwoody going through turn number 3 now. So I think they'll catch him by the end of the lap, but just don't make any mistakes on the way while doing that. So,
yeah, you don't want to do that. Sam Crow did come in and top up. So too did Ted Craven. Dunwoody and Hayes also visited pit road. So that tells me that there may be Sam Crow. Keep your eye on Sam. He might think he can make this.
I wouldn't be surprised if you have drivers that try to fuel save this. Obviously, there's a pace difference, and the faster you go, obviously, like if you're Logan Edwards or you're Ryan O'Donohue, you're obviously going faster than the rest of the field. Therefore, you're going to burn more fuel. Whereas if you're in the midfield or towards the back, well, not to sound rude to those guys, but you're not burning as much fuel because, well, you're not going as fast. So it could be a strategy to where you just kind of maintain your own pace and then not pit if you're able to make it to the end there. If you're the likes of Sam Crow, big checkup for Logan Edwards there on the outside line. I think I heard Logan. He went to neutral and clutch coasted there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you can kind of hear it. Let's jump on board. Yeah, he's
clutch coasting right now, trying to save as much fuel as he can.
Yeah, I think guys are being a little coy. He's even shutting the truck off. You can very much hear it. So The fuel games have begun in earnest here at Coronado. See Say Lewis Hayes and Ted Craven catching the rear of this field as we go through the Arby's chicane, as we've dubbed it. They have the meets, they have the chicane, and we're going to be going back to green just here in a moment. Pace truck is going to pull off. Logan Edwards, Ryan O'Donohue lead him back. We are under green for the final stage. 22 laps to go here at Naval Base Coronado. O'Donohue and Edwards side by side for the lead going into turn number 1. O'Donohue backs off and lets Edwards go.
He does indeed. Logan Edwards defends the inside as they go into turn number 2. He's going to let O'Donohue have the outside line. Matt Sizzler right on the rear bumper of Ryan O'Donohue, but he pulls away, or O'Donohue pulls away just a little bit back onto the rear bumper of Logan Edwards. Now we get to see the strategy game of everybody. Who decides to fuel save? Who decides to go all out here with just over 20 to go?
Who's it going to be? Logan Edwards, Ryan O'Donohue, Matt Sizzler. Sean Roberts has made his way back up to the 4th spot. He was fast last night. He's back at it one more time. He's all over the back of Matt Sizzler.
Yeah, he's all over the back of him, all over the rear bumper, but so is O'Donohue on Logan Edwards. It's kind of fairly spread out. O'Donohue just trying to get a clean line as they go into the Red Bull chicane. Logan Edwards keeps it nice and tidy as they go through there. Very, very tight. You can see how tight they are going through the left-hander. A little bit of wall contact. I believe that was John Houchins that tapped the outside wall there going through that left-hand portion. But he's able to continue forward. No harm, no foul. But Logan Edwards has pulled away just a little bit from Ryan O'Donohue.
And it's got to be frustrating for Ryan O'Donohue. He led the first 2 stages at will almost, just like last night. And just like last night, he gives up the lead at the beginning of the 3rd stage, and it's going to be difficult now to get around Logan Edwards. Let's ride on board with Ryan O'Donohue. I just want to kind of gauge if we're in fuel save mode or not, Caleb. He's definitely short shifting that truck.
Short shifting, at least in iRacing's program, really doesn't do that much. It's all really about throttle position, and as well as what gear you're in. It's not so much, just shifting early. I don't think he's if he is fuel saving, he's not doing that much of it. I think he is trying to full push this as much as possible. And trying to get back into the lead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Ryan O'Donohue is saving anything, and I don't think Logan Edwards is either. Nor do I think Matt Sizzler or Sean Roberts is saving fuel. Kendall Paul might be. Austin Hunn might be. But I don't think anybody at the front of this deal is trying to save gas. I think they're planning on making a stop, even if it's just for a splash. But we're gonna take 21 laps and figure this out. You are watching the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series live on the P1 Broadcasting Channel. If you haven't already done it, please hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you can get in on all the iRacing fun. We've got the full slate, Caleb, tomorrow. It's a big one. The iRacing IndyCar Series at Road America, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Sunday, well, we've still got the day off for the time being. Dark Horse will be back, I believe, on July the 12th. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that to go up, and if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get the notification on that. The oldest continuously run DW12 series in iRacing, Dark Horse, and a fine league, if I do say so myself, Caleb.
It is indeed, and that's definitely not influenced by you being a champion of that series. Most recent champion of that series.
Back to back.
Back to back.
I'm gonna go for 3. It's I'm gonna follow the rule of 3 though. If I win if I win 3 in a row, I'm gonna retire. How's that?
Yeah, I guess you got to pass on the torch eventually, as you say, with the old DW12 and leave it buried behind in the legacy content.
It's funny. There was a stat that Gary gave the other night. I watched that race back, and there are only 2 other people that had won that that have won 2 Dark Horse championships: Craig Forsyth and Nick DeGroot. And if you think about the IndyCar community, those are two pretty decent names. So anytime you have your name alongside those, that's a pretty big deal, I think.
It is indeed. Meanwhile, we're still watching this battle for the lead, and they've kind of separated themselves from everybody else. Logan Edwards, Ryan Donahue, Matt Sizzler. Sizzler kind of introducing himself for the first time in the lead battle. Do want to point out, Sean Roberts was in the 4th position last time around. He has had an incident somewhere.
Yeah, he's fallen all the way back to the 7th spot. Let's take a look at Sean Roberts and see what we can see.
I believe he just let everybody by.
Well,
it doesn't look like any incident has happened actually.
Well, the right front is severely wrinkled on that Ford F-150. He goes really wide through turns. Well, where would that be? He's in the casino corner. So that's turns 10 and 11. But you can see the damage on the front of that truck. So he's hit something. Meanwhile, we don't want to go away from the battle for the lead because these front 3 are waging. They're doing battle for it. They're going to come get 19 to go. Ryan O'Donoghue and Logan Edwards going after it. O'Donoghue second, Edwards first. Matt Sizzler kind of lurking back there. But if these 2 get into it, Matt Sizzler is going to have a cruise because they are 5 seconds ahead of Kendall Paul.
Yeah, they've broken away from the rest of the pack here. But it seems like Sizzler's just dropping off, and the Huggers Orange tailgate of that truck. That's a throwback reference to the old Chase for the Cup 2005. I used to have that game on the old PlayStation 2. I remember that sponsor. It was always the first truck you got as your contract in the career mode. It was always I believe it was the 103 Huggers Orange that you got a contract for in your career mode in the Chase for the Cup. So that's what Matt Sizzler is rocking on the rear bumper of his machine in that number 93.
I love him. Ryan O'Donoghue looks to the outside of Logan Edwards into turn 6 and 7. Can't quite make it happen, but these 2 are going after it. You notice the steering inputs from Ryan O'Donoghue. They are almost drifting through that chicane there at 6 and 7, and that's a very narrow area of the track. O'Donoghue continues. He goes offline a little bit. John Houchins has received the black flag, so that'll promote Ted Craven to 11th, Sam Crow to 10th. Say Hey Lewis Hayes is now 9th as we jump back on board. Ryan O'Donoghue through 10 and 11, down toward turn number 12. Quick blast. But O'Donoghue just can't seem to get he can get to Logan Edwards, but he can't get past the old narc brain. Caleb Edwards doing a spectacular job.
Yeah, and Logan has kind of pulled away a little bit as they go through the Kubota chicane into the Arby's bus stop chicane. But Logan goes a little bit wide on entry, but he's still kind of just around 4 to 5 truck lengths ahead of Ryan O'Donoghue. Ryan O'Donoghue about 7 or 8 truck lengths over the 93 of Matt Sizzler. So they, the top 3 have kind of separated a little bit. Meanwhile, behind them, there is a very, very intense battle for the 4th place position between Jason Phillips, Austin Hunt, and Kendall Paul.
It is very intense. Those 3 have been going at it hammer and tong, but not not changing positions. They seem content to ride nose to tail. I was gonna say I jumped up to check on my collect. I still have all of my PlayStation 2 games, by the way, Caleb. I jumped up to check. I got rid of my NASCAR. Chase for the Cup. I always preferred Dirt to Daytona.
Well, I was a little console kid, and I don't think that was PC only, wasn't it? Or was that PlayStation?
No. Dirt to Daytona is on PlayStation 2. I had it on PlayStation 2. Here's the battle for fourth. Kendall Paul leads at Austin Hund, and you got Jason Phillips back there, and Phillips appears to have damage on the front of that number 20 machine, but it doesn't appear to be doing him any harm. He's able to stay up with Kendall Paul and Austin Hund. But yeah, no, that was by far my favorite game. The difference between the EA game, the EA games, and Dirt to Daytona, made by Infogrames, which is a European outfit, is the AI in Dirt to Daytona was not realistic. It wasn't nearly as good as the EA games, but the career mode was a lot more realistic. I always felt you had to sign sponsors and upgrade parts in your car and so forth. The EA games got kind of farcical the more seasons you ran, I thought, but the EA games also had R1 to intimidate, right?
Oh, yes, they did. The R1 to intimidate.
Did you did you draft and make friends, or did you intimidate more? I guess is the question.
Well, with the old EA games, it was really difficult to. Well, it was easy to share draft. You would just you share draft for about 5-10 laps, but it was very easy to accidentally wreck somebody in those old EA games. So you always have rival points, and then if you did that, well, they wouldn't be happy with you, and they would start doing some Austin Dillons at Richmond per se. So it was I always just share draft that way. They wouldn't do anything for me. Looking back at the battle for the lead, Ryan O'Donoghue has caught the back of Logan Edwards, and he has introduced Matt Sizzler to the fight as well.
Yeah, I don't know that Sizzler necessarily has the same amount of steam as O'Donoghue and Edwards. He's definitely there if they collect each other. If they get to battling too hard, he's going to be in position to take advantage. But I don't know that he quite has the same amount of speed as the two up front. He's able to stay there, but I think that's about all he's got, is just being able to stay there. Edwards and O'Donoghue appear to be pretty evenly matched, though, Caleb.
They do indeed, but they seem to all three be equally spaced as they go through the pink casino section. But it just seems like it just kind of ebb and flows on which driver is quicker in certain sections. But Logan pulling away as they go through the Kubota section, but I think it always got a little bit closer as they went through the front straightaway up into turns 1 and the 2-3 left-handers there.
Well, and that's what always happens at a place like this, especially with as many technical corners as the track at Naval Base Coronado has. Caleb, there are going to be points where O'Donoghue is better. There are going to be points where, and O'Donoghue smacks the wall going through turn number 1. I think he got it square. I don't think that's going to hurt him, but he definitely collected the wall there. But what I was saying was there are going to be points where O'Donoghue's quicker, and there are going to be points where Logan Edwards is quicker, and you gotta kind of go to school here if you're Ryan O'Donoghue and figure out where he can be better than Logan Edwards, or where he can be better than himself where Logan's faster. Does that make sense?
It does, and that's an Oval guy saying that, by the way. That's an Oval guy talking about the ebb and flow of road course racing.
I mean, to be fair, I mean that technique works on ovals as well. One of the best lessons I ever got was from your team leader there, Brandon Trano, at Richmond in a IndyCar Elite Series race. Just trying to figure out how he was getting through turns 1 and 2, because he was much quicker than I was. So my car was not in position to contend for a podium. I think we had a top 10 car. Of course, in that series, a top 10 was incredible. It was, I mean, you had to struggle to make those races, but no, I mean, you know, I was a little bit off strategy. Came out, had brand new tires on, and thought I'm going to sit behind this guy and figure out what he's doing, because he would get to the middle of the corner and just disappear. And so I was trying to look at where he was lifting and exact line he was taking, and you can learn a lot, Caleb, just by sitting behind somebody and watching what they're doing.
Yes, it is indeed, and that's kind of what, you know, O'Donoghue's paying in.
Yeah, Ryan O'Donoghue's going to do the same thing he did last time. He's going to try to pull the undercut. They are about 2 seconds off of their best raw pace. So Ryan O'Donoghue's going to come down pit road. Now, it's not going to be nearly as long of a run as it was last night. If you recall last night, Caleb, Ryan O'Donoghue came in right at the beginning of the window, had about a 4.5 second lead over Franco Alvarez, and then Alvarez slowly, well, not so slowly, Franco Alvarez reeled him in once the tires went off on the 14 and drove right around him. We're going to cover the stop for Ryan O'Donoghue, and that's gas only, 6.4 seconds. Ryan O'Donoghue goes back out onto the course, so the gambit has been laid, Caleb. Ryan O'Donoghue, gas only with 15 to go.
Fuel only. Now that will make.
Meanwhile, Matt Sizzler gets by Logan Edwards. We're gonna have to go back and watch that. Sizzler, huge lockup, and Sizzler's in the tires. So Matt Sizzler had made the pass for the lead. Then he promptly locks up the left front going into turn 7 and smacks the tire wall. And that is going to severely impact the handling on that number 93.3 Birdies machine. Logan Edwards will go back to the lead, Caleb.
But Logan Edwards taps the wall right in front of Matt Sizzler.
Logan Edwards will keep the lead, and Ryan O'Donoghue has, if he's listening to the broadcast, he is loving hearing this. Sizzler in the wall there, Logan Edwards in the wall over here. O'Donoghue saying, man, I'm going to get the hammer down and get going. And he came out in 6th place, by the way, not too far off. Well, I shouldn't say not too far off. He's about 20 seconds behind Kendall Paul and Jason Phillips. Phillips has moved into the 4th spot. Logan Edwards has reestablished the lead over Matt Sizzler, but that was an interesting set of corners there. You had O'Donoghue pit in, you had Matt Sizzler briefly take the lead, then he clouts the tire bearing. He's on pit road.
Yeah, possibly getting some damage repaired. The CV's taking fuel only. That front left where he hit that tire bundle is completely caked in, Murph.
Well, we're going to find out. Let's take a look at Matt Sizzler as he inches toward his pit box. The speed limit here is 35 miles an hour. He's on that. There he goes, and you can see the damage to that number 93.3 Birdies machine. If it's gas only, well, it's gas only. So if he got anything fixed, he only got 6.4 seconds worth fixed, or 6.8 seconds. He's going to come out, Caleb, over 5 seconds behind Ryan O'Donoghue, though. O'Donoghue, the last time through, was on it.
Yes, he was. And you got to think as well, even, Sizzler
Battle for second. Jason Phillips goes through Austin Hunt, so move Jason Phillips into the 2nd spot, and he nearly overshoots turn 6 and gets into the tires, but he's able to keep it moving. without hitting anything. And Phillips is sporting damage to the right front of his machine as well. You can see the right front of the number 20 is caved in.
Yes, it is indeed. I believe he got that from the last corner quite a while ago. So these three, the Jason Phillips, Austin Hunt, and Kendall Ball, have pretty much been going at it for a majority. Basically, ever since stage number 2 started, these three have really just been kind of going at it. It's kind of separate at the moment. Kendall's fallen off the back just a little bit, but the guy that's leading this thing has a little bit of right front damage. Can Austin Hunt and Kendall Paul with cleaner trucks make anything of it?
We'll see. Logan Edwards now 5 seconds ahead of Jason Phillips, Austin Hunt, Kendall Paul. That's the battle we're watching. It is second, third, and fourth. Ryan O'Donohue is fifth. He is anywhere between 6.5 and 7 seconds ahead of Matt Sisler, and we're going to keep an eye on the lap times of those trucks as they relate to Logan Edwards. Again, gas only for Ryan O'Donohue, gas only for Matt Sisler, and we'll see how this plays out. Logan Edwards still yet to pit, and we are closing in. 13 laps to go. Here's Logan. We are closing in on the end of the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series here at Coronado. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in, joining in the fun. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel, and you can get involved in all of the iRacing action here on P1. It's we've got the full slate. We talked about the iRacing IndyCar Series. We talked about Dark Horse and Votive being on hiatus. After the iRacing IndyCar Series, you're going to have the IndyCar Open Series Monday night top split. That is going to happen at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Monday night. And that is from the old Atlanta, Caleb. So not the super speedway configuration, but the old, really gnarly, busted up, rough pavement in Atlanta. 8 o'clock, that'll be fun. Right after that, immediately following, it's the Indy Next Road Series Monday Night Top Split. They are going to be running from Silverstone. You couldn't ask for two more disparate circuits than a perfectly smooth Grand Prix track in England and a high-speed oval in the American South. Tuesday night, it is the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split from Michigan. That race is going to be epic. Anytime those cars go to Michigan, you see a heck of a turnout, and it's going to be a heck of a field. 8:15 Eastern for that one. 9:30. That's going to be followed at 9:30 by the Indy Next Oval Series from South Boston. As you mentioned, Horizon and the Formula Indy Series continue to be off on their summer break, although they will be restarting soon. Next Thursday, it is the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start from Sonoma. So another road course for the AMA next week, and we are eagerly awaiting Logan Edwards to hit pit road. It's worth noting Ryan O'Donohue has pulled out to a 10-second advantage over Matt Sisler. He gets by Kendall Paul, who is on the pit lane. O'Donohue 3 seconds quicker than Logan Edwards the last time through.
It makes me think, does Logan have some sort of damage that we missed now? I don't see anything on his truck, but
I mean, he last lap 2:17.908 for Logan Edwards, 2:16.705 for Jason Phillips, 2:18.203 for Austin Hunt, 2:14.425 for Ryan O'Donohue. Now O'Donohue's 20 seconds behind, but at this rate, if it's Logan Edwards trying to nurse it home and make the fuel save, Ryan O'Donohue would catch him.
I'm trying to get a listen to it. Does he is being very, very gentle with that throttle.
Yeah, there you hear it.
But if he wasn't, my thing is if he wasn't doing this, at the very beginning, well, the second half is just going to be even more hard if he wasn't fuel saving the entire time. He is indeed short shifting as well. I think Logan's going to try to push us to the end here.
Yeah, there he is. So the classic battle between the tortoise and the hare shapes up. Logan Edwards versus Ryan O'Donoghue. They've got Jason Phillips and Austin Hund. Phillips and Hund, though, appear to be doing the same thing as Logan Edwards as we ride with the old narc brain through the Arby's chicane down toward turn 16 and the end of the lap. We'll look at the lap time here. It's going to be across the line for Logan Edwards. He's not really that awfully slow, Caleb. 2:17.1. Ryan O'Donoghue is coming, though. 19 seconds back. And his lap time is going to be, here's O'Donoghue screaming toward the start-finish line. 2:14.7. So another couple of seconds go away for the lead of Logan Edwards. I think the front three are going to try to make it, Caleb. And it's a chase between them, Sizzler and Kendall Paul, who is also stopped for fuel. Sam Crow has stopped. David Dunwoody, Ted Craven, Paul Witt have not. So here we go. Can Logan Edwards save the fuel? And this is something that's going to stand him in good stead tomorrow in that big IndyCar race we were talking about, because tomorrow's a situation where you're going to want to be able to save some fuel at Road America too, Caleb.
Well, unfortunately, tomorrow I don't believe Logan's able to attend. I believe he is in the process of moving at the moment. I think he said he has a house to paint tomorrow. So, but we did do the IAS slot today, and well, it was a bit of a fuel save race. Road America is it's not the worst road course to save at because the draft there is so massive. But to go in back-to-back races where you're fuel saving, it's just like, come on, man, let's get a move on. Let's go full push now. And when you're at least with here, it's only for not even like half the race here. Whereas Road America, you're fuel saving the entire race. So at least he got to go full push there for about 24-ish laps there in the first two stages.
Yeah, he did. He's going to come across. He's going to grab 10 laps to go, and all eyes now on Logan Edwards. Sean Roberts did chime in and said he got the tire barrier in the same spot as he did last night. Same bundle, as a matter of fact. Roberts, Alan Steigerwalt, and Brian Sharp are out of this one. 12 cars remain. 10 on the lead lap. Ted Craven is on the lead lap, but that is Ted Craven right in front of Logan Edwards. And Edwards bumps up the pace. Last time, 2:16.0 for Logan Edwards. So either he saved enough, or he now realizes he hasn't saved enough. One of the two. And here comes Logan. He's going to get by Ted Craven, and then it'll be Paul Witt next up on the hit parade. And then he's going to have a little bit of time behind. He's got a little bit of time before he gets to David Dunwoody. And Dunwoody should be the last truck that he has to worry about in terms of lap traffic. It feels like Logan has appreciably picked up the pace now, Caleb.
He has indeed, but I can hear his inputs here. He is still lifting, coasting into the braking zones here. So he is still fuel saving, but it looks like maybe he now knows he can push it just a little bit harder to make it to the end here.
Well, and talk about it a little bit about what tools a driver might have at their disposal. From iRacing, there are other ways that you can track it and measure it. What's Logan looking at in order to do this?
Well, unlike in real life, it's pretty much you don't know how much fuel you have until the thing starts sputtering, and then you're pretty much out. In here, you're actually given a count of how much fuel you have, whether it be in liters or gallons, and you with the new fuel usage thing that they added in the latest update in the beginning of Season 3, you're able to see how much fuel you are burning per lap. So and how many laps that's estimated to be, and it gives you a quick calculation of what your MPG is, how many laps you're able to go using that MPG, how much fuel you're burning per lap, and if you're able to use that with the latest update and kind of gauge, how long you can go on a set of fuel or a full tank of gas. And it looks like Logan picked up the pace a little bit. He did drop about 2 seconds there, but if he's able to maintain this pace, it's going to be close. But I think if he's still able to maintain this pace, he should be in the clear running here, Murph.
It's going to be awfully close. Last time through, Logan Edwards 2:15.9, Ryan O'Donoghue 2:14 dead. O'Donoghue is 16 seconds behind. Austin Hund and Jason Phillips have given up on the fuel save. They've come to pit lane, and so that leaves just Logan Edwards out there trying to make it on what he started stage 3 with. Can he do it? Ryan O'Donoghue has moved back into second. Matt Sisler into third, and so it's just down to whether or not the fuel is going to hold out for another 20 minutes or so for Logan Edwards.
Well, if he knew he couldn't make it to the end, he wouldn't still be fuel safe.
Right, he would have.
He knows he can make it to the end. It's just a matter of not if that pace is good enough to hold off Ryan O'Donoghue. So,
right, and he knows too. And look, Logan's a smart guy. He knows that he's going to know the gap between O'Donoghue and Sisler. So even if O'Donoghue catches him at the current pace, Logan is still running faster than Matt Sisler. As a matter of fact, that gap is like 30-something seconds. Back to Sisler, 40 seconds to Hun, 46 to Phillips. So he knows even if O'Donoghue catches him, the worst he can do if he makes it across the line is probably second.
Yeah, and that's always a good point stay for Logan Edwards. However, Ryan O'Donoghue is a truck that is in front of him in the point standing, so he would like to finish. If it was any other driver on track, even if it was like Jason Phillips or even Austin Hunt, he could probably take that and run away with it and say, okay, you can have the position. The fact that it's Ryan O'Donoghue and it's a driver that's ahead of him in the standings, he might not be so lenient to let him by as easily, and he might want, especially with it being a road course. We know Logan as a road course master here in the AMA and as well as the IndyCar side of things. He doesn't want to settle for second here. Out of all the places, he's going to race at, he doesn't want to settle for second at this, a brand new track at a road course.
And he looks at this. He looks at this like I would look at a race at Michigan or Texas or something where, it's a chance for me to pick up a win at a track I'm really good at, where others might be not as familiar or not as comfortable. Logan Edwards, he's picked up the pace. Matter of fact, their last lap times were almost even. Logan Edwards, 2:15.3 versus a 2:14.9 for O'Donoghue and a 2:16.2 for Matt Sisler. So O'Donoghue's still catching, but not nearly at the rate he once was. And for Logan Edwards, it's just a matter, again, is the fuel going to hold? And I'm with you. If he didn't think you could make it, he would have stopped long ago.
Yeah, he would have stopped long ago, or he would have just said, screw it, just go full push, and then we would have seen him just lapping 214s pretty consistently, basically just matching his tire fall off. So I think he would have. He's always a driver that usually likes to do the overcut on strategies, and in my opinion, I think on a road course setting, you kind of want that, especially if you're not going to take tires. That way, your truck, in this case scenario, will be as light as possible. If it was an oval setting, then yeah, you pit as soon as possible. That way, you can get all the ballast on one side. But with a road course, you want this thing to be as light as possible. So if Logan is going to try an overcut strategy, he might. And in fact, last time around, he just did 214. O'Donoghue did a 215.2. So Logan is pushing the envelope now. He was full push that last time around.
Yeah, he was just a second off of his best lap time, and that would be right with what we would think he would do on tires of this age. And so Logan Edwards continues to go. Jason Phillips, purple lap, 2:12.485. So Jason Phillips has got the rubber band stretched real tight. Of course, he is in the 5th spot. Nobody is in contact with anybody else. Matter of fact, the closest gap on the track is between Austin Hund and Jason Phillips, and that's about 3 seconds. So we're not close to one another. Jason Phillips, by the way, is the only truck in the top 5 that took tires on his pit stop.
Well, he is closing on Austin Hund, and he'll have fresher tires, throughout the rest of the race. Just over 6 laps remaining. He might be able to. I think he'll definitely at least get Austin Hund. He might be on the rear end of Matt Sizzler for a chance at a podium position here.
Yeah, there's Jason Phillips, and that's very true. And maybe he thought, hey, strap on some new boots. That might be my chance to drive through the field and get something done. Sizzler, we think, has some damage anyway. He's been consistently losing time to both Logan Edwards, Ryan O'Donoghue, and Austin Hund. But Jason Phillips riding a rocket on fresh tires. That's Austin Hund just ahead of him.
Yeah, he is. He's got a lap car in between. That's Ted Craven. Kind of an unfortunate time. Ted Craven tries to get out of the way as soon as possible, but just a really unfortunate spot to catch him. But I don't think that will matter too much, at least to the gap to Austin Hund. I think Jason Phillips has got that position pretty much covered as long as he doesn't make a mistake, and that's just due to him having the fresher Goodyear rubber. I think it's all just a matter of if he can catch Matt Sizzler or not. I think he's got Austin Hund covered. I said that a couple of times already, but it's going to be whether or not he can catch Sizzler, and Sizzler's got Paul Witt right in front of him as lap traffic, and Sizzler had a little bit of almost an incident with Paul Witt there.
Yeah, he did. I mean, you can see the damage on the front of Matt Sizzler's truck as well. The right front, the left front, just like the right front of Jason Phillips, is caved in on the number 93. 3 birdies Ram for Matt Sizzler. So he's sporting some damage, trying to make it home. Logan Edwards 2:15.8 to Ryan O'Donoghue's 2:15.1 the last time through. So that gap remains about 17 seconds with 6 laps to go. Here's Jason Phillips, and he is at the back of Austin Hund now.
Yeah, all over the back as they go up into the Red Bull chicane here. You can see him going through the bumps here. They got a lap car in front. That is Paul Witt. Paul Witt gets out of the way. A little bit of a lockup from Austin Hund. He goes really deep going into the chicane there, but he's still... Yeah, he gets a little bit loose on exit, though. He drops quite a bit of time to Jason Phillips just in that one complex there.
Yeah, he did. And look, I mean, Jason Phillips, these guys are now only about 4 seconds off of Matt Sizzler as Sizzler continues to hemorrhage time with that damage. Hund is catching Sizzler. Phillips is catching Hund. It's going to be a pretty interesting fight for this final spot on the podium as we draw down toward the end of the AMA Outland Custom Arms AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series race here at Coronado. My apologies, fans. It's been a long week for me. I'm about spent, I think, but we're just about at the end, Caleb. 5 to go.
Yeah, 5 to go, and here at San Diego, what feels like, well, it is the longest track on the NASCAR calendar, but these races, especially, they feel especially long. Sehelu Hayes just left the session. I believe he has DNF'd.
Yeah, he'll be credited
So-
with 12th spot. Ted Craven, John Houchins, Paul Witt, and David Dunwoody now all a lap down. Only 7 cars remain on the lead lap, with Sam Crow, the final car, on the lead lap, and he should hold that distinction. He's about half a lap ahead of Logan Edwards, who maintains about 16 seconds over Ryan O'Donoghue, and Logan has dropped it down into the 2:14s now.
Yeah, back into the 2:14s for Logan. Last time around, he's going through the old pink section now, so he's got about 4.5 laps to go. But it's pretty much, he isn't really fuel saving. I've been listening to him. He's pretty much full push from here.
Let's get on board.
You just look at kind of like how smooth his inputs are too with that wheel.
Yeah, he's not. A lot of people might think, driving one of these is herky jerky and you got to use a lot of muscle. It's very, very, very smooth. Even that tap of the wall was almost by design there, Caleb.
It could have been, but obviously, you could just see his inputs. There's no massive overcorrections. There's no sudden jerks of the wheel. He's being very smooth with his not only his steering but his brake and throttle inputs. He's not stepping the car out too much. He's not sending the car too deep. Got a little bit loose at going over the tracks there, but realistically, that was very, very small in comparison to what we've seen throughout the duration, throughout the rest of the race here.
It is. We're about to have a battle for third. Austin Hund has caught Matt Sisler, and Jason Phillips is right there as well. This would be for a spot on the podium, and these are both points contenders in Sisler and Hund. Both would love to claim a podium here at Coronado. Can Austin Hund navigate his way around Matt Sisler, and can Jason Phillips find his way past both of them? Because they are running in reverse order of how fast the trucks are at this particular point in the run.
Yes, they are indeed. They go through Qualcomm Carrier Corner. Matt Sisler getting a little bit wide. Austin Hunt keeps it nice and tidy. But Jason Phillips has fallen off the back of this pack. He's settled himself in 5th. Do want to also point out Paul Witt has also disconnected from the session. He'll be credited with, I believe, Ted Craven's still going around, so Paul Witt will be credited with 11th place if he decides not to come back.
Austin Hund to the inside of Matt Sisler. They'll go through the Camping World section, and Matt Sisler is going to hold off Austin Hund temporarily, but the damage on that 93 has got to be showing, and I believe that's probably why you're not seeing Jason Phillips put up more of a fight here, even with the new tires. It could be that the thing is damaged enough to where it's not it's burning them off too quickly, Caleb. But Matt Sisler definitely holding up progress here for both Jason Phillips and Austin Hund. Hund all over the back of that Three Birdies machine one more time.
Yeah, he is. They got a lap car in front. That is David Dunwoody going through the RB chicane, but they're basically nose to tail, all three of them going through the RB chicane. Austin Hunt getting a little bit squirrely on the exit. Going through the last corner now. They'll take lap 48. 3 laps to go as they come across the line. Jason Phillips almost ran into the back of David Dunwoody there going across the start-finish line, and he also taps the wall going into turn number 1. And then Matt Sisler gets a little bit squirrely Austin Hunt on the rear bumper. Gets a little bit loose under braking. Austin Hunt is all over the back of that Huggers orange bumper, that rear tailgate there. They go over the tram tracks. Austin goes a little bit wide there, but he's got the momentum going into Qualcomm corner.
Let's see, can Austin Hund make the move at Qualcomm carrier corner? He cannot, but he's right to the inside. Now he looks. He's looking on Sizzler. Can he make the move coming into turns 6 and 7? This is not a prime passing zone. Hund is going to pop anyway to the outside of Sizzler.
They both lock him up.
They both do lock up, and that's going to bring Jason Phillips in.
That's going to bring Jason Phillips. They both lock it in. They both sent it too deep on each other, and now they kind of settle in, and they Jason Phillips just kind of being patient, whether or not it's due to him not having the tires at the moment with the damage he's got on that front end. But Austin Hunt sent it really, really deep, was very lucky not to hit that outside wall in the Red Bull chicane.
Keeping an eye on Logan Edwards and Ryan O'Donohue. The gap is stabilized. Matter of fact, Edwards pulled out a couple of tenths the last time. It's 18.5 seconds. This is the battle. Matt Sizzler writing his doctoral thesis out here to try to keep Austin Hund at bay. This time, Hund to the inside. Can't quite get there as they as they go through the Kubota chicane. That's 14 and 15 on toward the bus stop. Hund still looking for a way past the number 93 of Matt Sizzler.
Yeah, he's looking for a way, but he's still got to worry about Jason Phillips behind, because Jason Phillips is just kind of lurking right now. 2 to go as they come across the line for these guys. But Matt Sizzler put on an excellent defense over that number 15 machine.
Matt Sizzler is playing great defense. Austin Hund, you wonder if he is going to start getting offensive is going to be the question. We saw the big lock. We saw the dueling lockups going toward turn 6 earlier. How much more patient is Austin Hund going to be before he simply moves Matt Sizzler out of the way, knowing how much faster both Hund and Phillips really are than Matt Sizzler? They head down toward carrier corner one more time.
Austin getting a very, very tight line. He's got the momentum. This is the exact same way it happened last lap. Does Austin is he gonna try it again? Same situation, a little bit further back though. Deep on the brakes. Matt Sizzler locks it up. Goes a little bit deep. Austin on the outside. He's able to get the position on the outside. Go through Red Bull chicane.
That is a difficult move, Caleb, because the track is extremely narrow right there. Austin Hund goes through, move him to third. Matt Sizzler will go back to fourth. Jason Phillips will now go to work on the back of the three birdies, Ram. Can Jason Phillips pull himself into the 4th spot? We'll see. Meanwhile, the fuel is holding out for the Team I5G machine of Logan Edwards, and let's follow him around because that's the next story. Can Logan Edwards nurse the fuel in that number 9 home and win here at San Diego? We're about to find out. He's through turn 3, headed toward turn 4, Caleb.
Turn 3 going through turn number 4. He hasn't won yet this season. His last win was actually at Lime Rock, the last road course we ran last season, but he's still yet to win a race. He's came so close so many times. Back-to-back second place finishes. He's on a 3-race podium streak. But today it looks like he has kind of mastered the new track on iRacing. Is able. He's only got about half of the circuit left to finally get his first win of the season.
We'll see Logan Edwards going through not Carrier.
Camping World.
Camping World. Thank you. Got the Top Gun Top Gun hangers in the background coming toward turns 10 and 11. He's still got fire in that thing, Caleb. If he can get down past turns 14 and 15, he can almost coast. Ryan O'Donohue is 20 seconds adrift, and so if Logan can just keep this thing going here, even if he runs out, I would say if he runs out, even at the bus stop, he'd be able to coast home and win the race.
He would indeed, and even then, he's got a little bit of draft help with the lap car in front, and the lap car is going to let him have the position here. Logan Edwards is able to get his first win of the season here in Coronado, San Diego, and that's going to help his championship battle immensely here, Murph.
It is. Now the question is going to be, does he have any fuel left to celebrate? Ryan O'Donohue, we're waiting on him, and we've still got the battle between Sizzler and Phillips. As they come toward the start-finish line, they've still got, Caleb, about a third of a lap to go here. They're in by no means home, and Sizzler way out of shape. Phillips has to lift off to avoid him. I think Jason Phillips thought Matt Sizzler was going to spin out there. He actually lifts to avoid the number 93 Three Birdies Toyota, and that's the way they're going to finish. Austin Hund is going to come through with third place. Matt Sizzler fourth. Jason Phillips is going to be fifth. And there's Logan. This is
He's doing his Daytona pit road special here.
This is your Rogue Energy winning moment. If you go to rogueenergy.com and use promo code AMA24, you get 10% off your order. Rogue Energy winning moment, rogueenergy.com, promo code AMA24, gets you 10% off your order. Logan Edwards celebrates by driving in reverse, and I believe he's out of fuel. Yeah, that car is no longer that truck no longer running, Caleb.
No longer running. He'll have to get a little bit of help. He's just going to tow it back though. But I was expecting a little bit of a Chase Elliott Watkins Glen there to get some help there to get back to victory circle here in San Diego.
Now here's David Dunwoody. He's going to be the last one to finish. He cracks the wall coming toward turn 16. But David Dunwoody, with a big chunk of the right front of that Blackmagic Studios machine missing, he will come home in the 8th spot, and Dunwoody gains a lot of valuable points in doing so, and that is going to be the end of the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Grand National Show from Naval Base Coronado. It's Logan Edwards, your winner. He defeats Ryan O'Donohue by 22 seconds, Caleb. Run it nonstop did Logan Edwards. Everybody else pitted. O'Donohue put up a good fight. He clawed back about half the distance, but he wasn't able to make it all the way home. Austin Hund rounds out your podium. In the 4th spot, it's Matt Sizzler. 5th, Jason Phillips, and that was a whale of a battle all the way back to the line as well. Kendall Paul, Sam Crow, the last 2 cars on the lead lap, they'll be credited with 6th and 7th. David Dunwoody is 8th, 1 lap down. John Houchins, 2 laps down in 9th. And Ted Craven, he soldiers home 2 laps down in the 10th spot. Out of the race from 11th on back, Paul Witt, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Sean Roberts, Alan Steigerwalt, and Brian Sharp. All right. Let's see if we can't. I know these guys have got to be tired. Let's see if we can get them in and out pretty quick tonight. Caleb, what do you say?
In and out pretty quickly, and over to next week then.
Absolutely. In the booth, we've got Austin Hund. Austin, you've got Murph. You've got Caleb Brashear. You got a copy?
Sure, I got.
So, do you still have all the fillings in your teeth after that one? That's the first question. And how tired are you?
Oh, the arms are definitely tired. It's That's a bumpy track. So it's tough to hang on to.
It is, but you did so with style. And for the serious questions, we're going to bring in noted driver Caleb Brashear. Caleb, what do you have for Austin tonight?
Well, since we're at a Air Force base, what is your favorite type of plane here that you see here at the track?
And to be honest with you, I probably couldn't even tell you what half of them are sitting around here.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Fair enough, Austin. I know you guys are tired. I know it's been a long night, and so we'll go ahead and get you out of here without too much pontificating. Friends, family, sponsors, shout them out, my man.
First, the wife for letting me sit down and do it. Group over there at 40 Raceway. About it. Y'all for putting the broadcast on so we can go back and watch it afterwards.
You're more than welcome, Austin. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Absolutely. That's Austin Hunn. For second place, we're going to bring in Ryan O'Donohue. Ryan, you've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. We're going to try to be brief. I know you guys are tired, and especially you. You've done this twice. You made the decision to come get gas. Did you think about getting tires too, or was gas only still the best call, you think?
I think it was still the best call. Yeah, I was just chatting with Logan, and that was a heck of a fuel save. Sam and I were talking about it, and it was definitely going to be close, right? With 22 laps, I even ran in here at like 6:30, telling Bridget like we got to figure out this last pit stop. I mean, can we make it or no? And Logan was going to beat us there. I mean, he can save fuel with the best of them, right? And I was shutting off saving under yellow there, and I figured, worst case if he ends up short on calculations, which I knew that wasn't gonna happen. But now if tires were gonna take too long, I think Kendall might have done it, splitting that in half, But I don't think I could have clicked off enough 212s in a row to chew up the rest of that time either way. So honestly, I'm just hoping for a mistake or something because it seemed like the pace we were running early. When I was in front of him, he didn't seem to be making too many mistakes, but trailing into the entry of the corner, kind of, I think maybe a little different rhythm for him. He was kind of clipping inside walls, and I was right there with him, but I wasn't gonna. I hadn't started saving, I don't think, early enough to be able to push him with him at the end. So, figured we'll just lock up second. I feel a lot better about second tonight than I did last night. It's definitely exhausting. That's a lot of laps around this place. It wears you out. This room looks like a sauna right now. So.
I'm sure it does. For the more serious questions, I'll turn you over to the ever capable Caleb Brashear. Caleb, take it away.
So when we originally dragged you into the interview room, Murph kind of had a misclick and dragged you into the Black Magic. I believe it was Black Magic Sim.
Yeah, that was funny.
Did you have a nice conversation with Brian and those guys?
Well, I was in the middle of talking to Sam, and then all of a sudden I hear Dunwoody's voice go, "Hi, Ryan," and I'm like, "Hi." I wasn't sure if he popped in ours or if I got put somewhere, and he's like, "What are you doing down here?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know where I am." So then I heard Mark, so I figured I knew what happened there.
Yeah, that was. We were trying to figure out a way to break up the yellows, just because a four lap caution here is 20 minutes. So
we were trying.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out a way to keep the audience entertained and keep you guys entertained too. So we were trying to pull as many people as we could up. Thank you so much for speaking with us, and my apologies for dropping in the wrong room.
All good.
With that said, we've got your Arby's order, and we've talked about airplanes. So friends, family, sponsors, shout them out, my man.
Yeah, girlfriend for watching. I kept kind of peeking over my shoulder here and seeing what she thought of all this, and we made some good decisions, and we got there. DVD Motorsports, all my guys. I think we all had a decent finish again tonight. We all somewhat survived the chaos. It wasn't as atrocious as last night. So John Bambarellis for doing it for him. I hope Charles enjoyed us on a podium a couple nights here. And we've got High Torque New York on a car still, Mass Vertical Spy, Heatwave Visual, 80K Karting, SimMagic, SimShop, AMA, Kendall, all the admins, everybody that put something into this. My bad on the thumbnails. I missed on that one. I'm working on the playoff ones here now to get ahead.
You owe me a thumb.
I gave you one in the chat. All their sponsors though, Archway Industrial Coatings for putting this series on, and Outland Custom Arms, Black Magic Studios, Track Racer, Rogue Energy, Abbott Box, and you guys in the booth will watch 2 of these back and have a good time doing that. I hope everybody else enjoyed it, and especially all the military and everything. I think this was really cool, even just to do it on the sim. Cool visuals and cool to let them do it in real life, and it was fun watching all the practices and stuff today. It looks like it's going to be a cool event. So yeah, we'll catch you in the next one, man.
Absolutely. That's Ryan O'Donohue. He comes home second today. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. And for tonight's winner, we'll bring in the old narc brain, Logan Edwards. Logan, you got Murph. You've got Caleb one more time. You win the Scott Dixon Award for master class in fuel saving this evening. How much did you have left when you got across the line?
I had 0.2 gallons, but honestly, I oversaved and could do some pretty big pushing to the end.
Oversaved. Now there's not a word that's escaped my mouth ever. So congratulations on too much fuel. Usually I'm on the other side of it going, why'd I run out? What were your impressions of this track? It's a new one in the sim. It's obviously a new one in real life. It may be a one-off, a one-and-done thing. What were your impressions of this place?
I really like the layout, but the surface ain't great. But I mean, I don't think that's surprising the surface is bad, but having crane rails and airfield it's not a very healthy combination. But the layout is fantastic. It's honestly a lot better than it looked from a map. There's plenty of places to have important exits and pass people, and there's chicanes and big long sweeping corners. A lot better than Chicago, that's for sure.
That's not a huge hurdle to leap over, right? I think we'd all agree that the Chicago track was very much a meme. This one looked pretty racy. So not only that, you and Ryan and Matt Sizzler there put on a heck of a show. Caleb, we'll leave the most serious questions to you. I'll turn you over to my esteemed colleague Logan. Caleb, take it away.
Logan, have you ate the other Hot Ones ramen packet?
No.
That's a story for another time. But basically, Logan doesn't know what Hot Ones was.
Oh no!
He got the Hot Ones ramen.
Ooh.
And didn't think it was that serious, and ate it, and then proceeded to give everybody on I5G his address just in case he thought he had to go to the hospital. So there's your little Logan Edwards fun tidbit of the day. I feel your pain, Logan. If I ate one of those now at 44 years old, my friend, I would be eating Nexiums and Tums for the next 3 days. So I feel your pain. We had Ryan O'Donohue in here just a few minutes ago, and he was talking about the military aspect of this and how cool that was. What were there any favorite sights that you had around this track? There's a lot of visuals that are pretty stunning with the different airplanes and drones, and obviously the aircraft carrier parked around. Did you have a chance to take any of that in, and did you have a favorite one?
I like Ospreys, so the Osprey sitting outside of like turn 13 is pretty cool, but the aircraft carrier is I think that's the star of the show. It's just so big and imposing. You pretty much have to look at it every single lap. So it's probably the star of the weekend, regardless of what my favorite aircraft may be.
It is a floating city. I think those things hold 6,000 or 7,000 people. So it is definitely a cool thing to behold. With that said, We'll let you get out of here. I know you're probably tired. Friends, family, sponsors. Shout them out, my man.
Shout out to everybody at Team I5G, especially Matt Taylor for all the hard work he's been putting in. I got a new teammate on a clinic recently. And just shout out to P1 Broadcasting for the show. Shout out to the league for being the league. Weren't a lot of people here, but didn't really expect there to be these street courses. They're pretty tricky for everybody.
Well, and it's a new track, and I think pretty much everybody realizes this is probably going to be a one-off. I don't know that they'll do this again. So,
yeah.
It's awfully, unless you're somebody that's, at least in the 40% club, it's kind of hard to justify $20 for a track. You know what I mean? But for you're going to use one, so I get that, and I get your enthusiasm over it. It is a cool layout. It's a very neat setting. Thank you so much for stopping by. Congrats on the trophy. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
You too, Murph. See ya.
Absolutely. That's Logan Edwards. He is tonight's winner. And Caleb, we got the breakthrough from the old narc brain this evening. He finally got his trophy.
Yes, he did. The road course specialist. Well, he wins another one here tonight. Here at the brand new Coronado Naval Base, San Diego, whatever you want to call it. Logan Edwards, the master of the road courses, and apparently also North Wilkesboro in the Truck Series, gets another win here tonight. First one of the season. And that's really going to help, not only just to get that breakthrough win of the season, but also help him in the championship as well. He was in a very close battle with Sizzler and O'Donohue, and he managed to beat both those guys tonight here. So I think that's really the big takeaway, is that this championship battle, especially with Kendall Paul finishing just a little bit further back from that, this championship battle is getting very, very close as we get towards the end of the regular season here.
It is getting very close indeed, and if you want to see close, we're gonna have a lot of close battles tomorrow, 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's the iRacing IndyCar Series presented by 40 Racewear from Road America. 2:00 Eastern Standard Time right here on P1. Monday night, we're going to kick off the twin bill with the IndyCar Open Series, 8 p.m. at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's the old pavement at 8 o'clock, and then they'll be followed by the Indy Next Road Series at 10. Tuesday night, 8:15, it is the IndyCar Oval Series at Michigan, and they're going to be followed by the Indy Next Oval Series at 9:30. Wednesday, the Formula Indy Series and the Horizon IndyCar Series are both off. That leads us right back here to the AMA. Next Thursday night, the Outland Custom Arms Series will visit Sonoma, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start. We do want to thank all of the drivers in the field, all of the fans in the stands, all of the series sponsors, but we really want to thank the people that really make it possible: the military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs driving the ambulance, and Caleb, the nurse that unloads you when you get there. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you all, and we will see you all at 2:00 tomorrow for Road America.